Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin. Guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian. Guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin. Guerrilla cricket.
Good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you are in the world. It is Guerrilla Cricket. We're back. We had a little hiatus on Monday. Someone couldn't be asked to get out of bed. Wasn't me. We're back for the first T20. England have won the one-day series. The first team since 2016, which was us, once again, to win an ODI series in Bangladesh. Hence we are the world champions. We are warming up for the World Cup, which is later in the year, but we've decided to switch formats. So we're going to go for T20s. I didn't realise this series was actually supposed to have been played in 2021 until I read it in the newspaper the other day. I thought it's been shoehorned in for no reason whatsoever, but it hasn't. There's Natta sitting comfortably on a sofa, but I'm joined by two prestigious men from the other half of the world. I've got Forthy. He's looking very tan from Melbourne, and Messi with what looks like a kangaroo on snow, but actually I guess that's a sun patch, not snow, behind him.
It's a kangaroo.
It's kangaroo is what I meant. Yeah. Yes. In the back garden. God, I wish we had wildlife that in the back garden. It'd be quite nice. Instead we just have the neighbour's cat. Good morning to you both. How are you?
Terribly well. Very well. Looking forward. Well, looking forward to this. It's not the most meaningful match we've ever covered on Guerrilla Cricket, but every match has its own charms.
Every match does have its own charms, and it'll only be 4 hours because it's a T20. It's hit and giggle. Chattogram, which supposedly was going to be a batting paradise, which is why they moved there. after Mirpur, which was supposed to be a bowler's paradise anyway, and was. Chattogram turned out to be exactly the same. In a low-scoring final ODI where Shakib got 75 or 71, I believe, and 4 wickets. Must have got man of the match. Didn't look, but I presume he must have done. Pretty much won the game single-handed. Bangladesh got themselves a sort of Pyrrhic victory, I suppose. They won a game.
Well, England were playing like they didn't want to be there, to be honest. It reminded me of the Australian games after the World Cup. It was pretty ordinary stuff.
Well, yeah, put your mic close to your mouth, Messi. You're a bit quiet.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, I kept an eye on it on the Cricket Info scorecard whilst I was doing what I had to be doing that day, and we started off quite well and then just seemed to, fall apart. But hey-ho, it's T20. It's a bit of hig and giggle. We have teams playing 11 for Bangladesh. England have chosen to bat, actually, so I shall do them first. The playing 11 for England is Phil Salt, Joss Buttler, Dawid Malan, Ben Duckett is back. So I don't know if he came back to England after New Zealand or just had a sojourn somewhere in between Bangladesh and Australia. Anyway, he's out there. Moeen Ali, Sam Curran, Chris Wokes, Chris Jordan has come from somewhere, presumably some T20 franchise tournament somewhere, maybe at home. Adil Rashid, Jofra Archer and Mark Wood. Nice bowling unit. Bangladesh go in with someone we don't have a jingle for if you're listening. Mog and Jeff. Roni Talakdar. I probably have pronounced that completely wrong. It could be Ronnie Talukta, who knows. Najmal Hossain Shanto, Lytton Das, Shakib Al Hassan, Towid Hidroy, who's I think he's having a debut today, not sure. Yep. Asif Hussain, Shamim Hussain, Taskin Ahmed, Nasoon Ahmed, Hassan Mahmood, and Mustafa the Fizz Rahman. There we go. Teams. What do we think is going to happen?
Yeah.
England have chosen to bat. No, did England choose to bat? Bangladesh won to toss and bowl. So, Bangladesh have decided to chase. Probably a wise option on what we expect to be a pretty turny pitch, pretty slow, probably pretty turgid and quite difficult to score on.
Well, I mean, we're in the unusual situation of an England team going in straight after a winning World Cup final. So, a match which I actually saw, funnily enough.
Indeed.
But
with a completely different team, though.
with, as is normal these days in cricket around the world, a completely different team. They're without Ben Stokes, Harry Brook, Alex Hales and Liam Livingstone, but they've got Duckett and Jordan coming in. I mean, England have enviable strength in depth these days when it comes to T20. It looks like we're underway.
Yeah, it does indeed. I shall give you some jingles shortly. I don't even... who's facing the first ball? It's Phil Salt. And he mistimes it up to long off. It'll be a single. It's hit and giggle. Let's have some openers for England. It's going to be this guy.
Get up on there. So salt, yeah, Phil is here. Want you to push it good into the offside. Scores runs all round the park. There's nowhere you can hide. Push it. So salt, yeah, Phil is here.
Pryor ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone subtler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler. Just because he is Joss Butler. 1 S and 2 T's, Joss Butler.
And he just goes back for his first ball, plays it up to long off. And there will be a single. The bowler is Nazim Ahmed. Yeah, it is.
Nazim Ahmed.
And he goes like this.
Nazim Ahmed from Bangladesh owes him some spin. Nazim Ahmed.
Oh, I like that. And somehow Phil Salt has not been bowled. He's gone back to cut it from the offside. It's gone straight on with the arm. Wicketkeepers missed it, and they got 3 for 2 byes. I don't know how that didn't take his leg stump, but it didn't.
Yeah, we've got old Tom Bombadil umpiring again. This is quite a big match for Phil Salt. He can't have too many lives left, like one of Hendo's cats. He hasn't had a big one for 5 or 6 innings now, since about 6 months ago, since he got a decent score.
Tries to hoik that into the leg side. I think he got it pretty much a toe end, and it goes up to mid on, and he was aiming that square, but he'll get himself another single. Oh, did he? Or was that off the pad? Yeah, it was off the leg, off the bat. Sorry. 5 for none after 4 balls. Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Though, but I mean, in the way that England are treating white ball cricket and the way that the players seem to, with all the tournament competitions, as that one's played square by Butler, can't beat the ring, and there's no run. Sorry, is that there's so many people in the frame. And I've actually come to the conclusion that England don't care about bilateral series anymore, so they'll just throw who's available. That's straight down the ground, very straight, lasered back over the bowler's head by Mr.
One bounce.
One bounce over the boundary, and it's going to be the first of these.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
So it's almost like someone like Phil Salt will always be in the frame just in case someone else isn't available when he's kind of good enough. It's kind of like that. Yeah. So he'll get other opportunities. Yeah. Even if he gets dropped, he'll get an opportunity because someone won't be available somewhere, essentially.
That's like a never-ending roundabout. Yeah. Like it keeps going round and round, isn't it? Yeah.
Like he's the fill-in player because no one else can be asked to play outside tournaments, So
that's right.
I ain't going to play World Cups, but you can play in between sort of deal, but you're not quite doing enough to get into the team. Although he was did he end up playing at a final in the World T20? Someone got injured, didn't he? I ended up playing one game, I thought, but maybe not.
He didn't play in the final. Messi, anything happening out there?
Well, yeah, there's technology issues, actually. First off, Bish has pointed out that the streamer on the website is saying we're not broadcasting.
Oh, right, yeah,
so
because
that needs updating.
I shall do that. The things to remember when I come in, that's one of the ones I don't remember.
I've just discovered the 21 tickets I bought for the GPL haven't appeared on my thing, which is just pissing me off. But never mind. So Mog is with us.
Hold on, and that's driven through the covers very sweetly by Phil Salt, and he'll get himself a boundary too.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's the first T20, isn't it? Sorry, got to talk away.
Okay, Mog's with us. He says, I've had something of a shite week, so you buggers had best be entertaining, or by fucking thunder, I'll just continue to listen and interact via tweet as per usual.
Well,
no difference there.
We need a jingle for that dude who I was talking about earlier. What was his name?
Well,
Roni Tilakdar. We don't have one for him, Mog, so if you've got 20 minutes, into the pads, big appeal by Taskin. It's going down leg for me. Umpire agrees. And they go through for a leg by. It is, where is his jingle? Well, I know we got him in somewhere. Yeah. This guy. Like him.
If you get to the ground by night, you can see this fella shine. He starts his run up looking real mean. If he ever gets annoyed, he's got himself a brand new ploy. He loves to get at batsmen all day, and he'll be tasking care of business.
Oh, it's 2 leg bars. 2 leg bars.
Yeah, it's an overthrow, in fact.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at other stuff. Hendo will be getting upset at home. Taskin in, cut by Phil Salt into the ring. They will get a single.
Yeah, it's very much a new look Bangladesh team. There's 5 changes to their regular team. Debutant in Tawid Khridoy, Shahim Hossain coming in after 2 years, and Ronnie Talukdar after 8 years. Plus Rejo Rahman Raja and Tanvir Aslam coming into the team as well as rewards for their BPL performances.
I've just added your tickets, by the way.
Thanks, mate.
Messi. I don't know why it's not working for you in Australia. Because
it's weird, isn't it?
It's weird because I did get in touch. I saw you saw my email with the guy running it. Everywhere else seems to be. People were buying them in Israel, but you can get them in Australia. Sorry about that. I don't know why.
It went through all right on my phone. It just they didn't appear. All right. Thank you. Okay.
Right. Okay. Well, send me that in an email, and I will forward that on. That is played out into the offside, and there's no run because that's interesting. So it came back to the site, but then they weren't added. That's different to not being able to get back to the site after.
Yeah.
So send me an email.
Well, new websites always have a few glitches, don't they?
Yes. Just like.
Jay says, good morning all. I've dressed in grey as you expect, Jay. I know you'd have a heart attack if I was coloured. And Leah says, when I lived in Munich, we had wildlife outside, trash pandas, and it wasn't that fun. Trash pandas? What's a trash panda?
I think it's a bear, isn't it? That comes in a little bit from Taskin over the wicket to Joss Butler, but he gets it up to mid on and there's no run.
Most
One
dangerous
run,
animal-
sorry, what I'm on about, obviously.
Most dangerous animal in the world, as we know, the panda, because it eats shoots and leaves.
Boom. Things aren't working today, are they? But hey ho. Tanvir Ahmed is the other umpire, standing at the other end.
Mark says, so I guess you'll need that jingle before he bats then.
Yes, that'll be right, Mog. Which, you know, you got 20 overs. Plenty of time. Phil Salt is facing up as Taskin comes in. Last ball of his first over. And it's played into the offside by Phil Salt. And it goes out to the covers. And they'll get through for a single and he'll remain on strike. He's had 7 balls. Butler's had 6. Salt's on 8. Butler's on 6. England at 18 for none after 2 overs. Over to you, Messi.
Bangladesh specialist Farong says, greetings from his son in Thailand. Hope everyone is well. Chattogram would expect 180 to 185 as par for the pitch. Bangladesh elect to field. Interesting team today. And on this day, a famous victory for the Tigers in the original white ball format. And there's a picture of them playing England. When was that? I don't know, but
They beat us in...
by 15 runs.
Yeah.
So here's the pictures. Mahmudullah made 100.
And that might have been in a World Cup or ICC tournament in England.
Yeah.
You know, when we were really shit and
yeah.
kept going out of everything, we get beaten by, Ireland, Bangladesh, Zimbabwe in our ODI. There was a period in ODIs where we came to a big competition, we were really shit. The Fizz is in. I'll give him a jingle. His first ball, he's bowling left arm over to Phil Salt. He plays it up to mid-off and there is no run. It is the Fizz.
As hard as anyone can. You'll get a lot of wickets. You'll blow your own bouquet.
It was 2015 World Cup. They were knocked out by Bangladesh, and that was a great soul-searching moment.
Yes.
Thanks, Anne.
The fork in the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down the
And,
track comes Phil Salt. That is a fucking good hot hit. Comes down the track early as well. Met the ball, slammed it back inside mid-off, and it goes all the way down to the boundary for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And
Yeah,
just to
I
make
think-
you happy, Bear, Piggy Smith just got played on to Jadeja for
Sweet.
32.
Now, I had a quick look at that before I watched this. It's interesting that after all the shit that they've been getting, the Indians prepared what looks like a reasonably decent test wicket. Did they lose the toss? I presume Australia won the toss and batted.
Yes,
So
that's right.
advantage Australia. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting in Indo what he was putting on WhatsApp and how the press are seeing it in India as that's clipped out into the leg side and there's no run. And they're right. I mean, if you create minefields, you may be marginally better, but it's pretty much 50-50. And games like that don't do anything. I mean, it's fun. It's fun for a neutral to kind of watch in a way, but I mean, it's not great cricket. Let's be honest.
It's not a proper sporting competition.
No,
but,
not really.
The minute you kind of mention this, immediately a commentator somewhere on the subcontinent will say, well, what about the green seaming wickets in June in England?
Well, they will, as that's played up into the... tried to get it past the stumps on the offside, but couldn't, and it was fielded by the bowler, and there's no run. Well, yeah, you could say that, but people still score runs, and tests still going like 5 days,
Yeah, and look,
And they're consistent. It's the ball.
There are minefields and minefields, aren't there? There are ones which are spinner friendly, and there are ones which are very specifically prepared in a very unique way, which I think is.
Well,
is
yeah,
probably-
it's not so much. I don't think it's so much the turn. I think it's the difference in bounce that does everybody. The up and downness to go with it is because then it's inconsistent. That is a leg side wide by the Fizz. It dies before it gets through to the keeper. And we shall give it one of these.
Yeah, it's interesting that
Go on, Messi.
The pitch in Ahmedabad is it's very flat and it's not lifting at all. The first 2 overs, at least 3 balls went through to the wicketkeeper on the second bounce. That's how slow it is, but it's consistent.
Phil Salt comes down the track and tries to clear to the leg side. He gets followed by the fizz. It gets a little bit of in-swing as well. Misses it completely. I thought he might have got a little edge. He kind of looked behind, but no one appealed. Good ball.
I remember, I think either 2013 or 2015, I can't remember which, the ECB or whoever, England, prepared a whole load of really dull, flat pitches in order to get a war of attrition against Australia, which, was effective and was successful and neutered Australia's pace attack, but it made for some very boring cricket. And I felt that was culpable as well.
That's driven by Phil Salt into the Afif at extra cover, and there is no run. Over to you, Messi.
Okay, well, Leah tells us a trash panda is a raccoon. To which Ravi says, "Oh, really? Trash panda's a raccoon? God damn it!" And Omri says, "Morning, wonderful Gorilla Cricket." Which reminds me, the GPL is open. How long is it open till?
45 minutes, I believe, till 9:45.
117 quid. So you've got another 25 minutes or so to get in your guesses. Pick exactly how many runs will be scored in total today, and you could win that £117. You can go there through the link on the top of our website.
As always, when it gets this high, the bank wants to win, so don't guess correct. Is all I will say. I know we have to give it away eventually, but I like to get big prize pots. What did we have? We had was it 300 quid or 190, 240 quid, something like that? It was given away earlier in the year.
Quite a lot.
On the back foot, Butler beats that offside, and it's an umbrella field, but he gets it to the left of whoever's at cover, who looked like he was going to the right and then couldn't change track quick enough, and gets it through, and it makes its way down to the boundary. It's 4 runs. Lovely shot. Beautiful timing. Just gets on the back foot, pushes it.
Especially England have started extremely well here. 27 off 3.1 overs. Sultan Butler really looking business. Was probably put the hex on them, but they're looking very good.
I was going to go under for the fall of first wicket, but I forgot to, which is a good thing because I'd have lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
27
They're looking
for none.
more interested than they were in the ODI, that's for sure.
Well, I think you can concentrate for T20s. They've probably been playing loads recently anyway, and it kind of frees the mind, I think, T20s, because it's just driven out to the man on the ring at cover, and there's a single. Just because it's just hit and giggle, does it matter if you lose? Only in the World Cup does it really matter if you lose. The rest of the time, you just try and smash the ball around for an hour.
True, but the thing about cricket is there's always battles within battles, isn't there? There's someone like Phil Salt who's desperate to keep his place in the side.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of T20s, Scott Bates on YouTube points out that Jason Roy got 145 not out in the PSL yesterday.
Jesus. He's finally hitting some form. Good time to hit some form. He had a shit 2022 coming into a World Cup. Hit some form. That'll be good for England. Can't complain. Driven square by Phil Salt. Out to the man on the boundary. Who is that new man, Roni Talukdar? And he gets himself a single. Butler back on strike. 11 off 7. Salt 13 off 14. England 29 for none. We're just in the 4th over.
Yeah, so far so good. Looks pretty blameless pitch.
Yep.
So should be quite pretty high scoring from looks.
I presume England get to bowl under the lights then. I wonder if it's Dewey, easier to bat second innings, one of those.
I'm not as familiar with the Chattogram to geology as I should be.
Well, funnily enough, I don't think any of us are. That one is fiddled at, is the best way to put by Butler. Maybe trying to guard it down a third man. It's a half a peel behind the stumps. It was quite close to the bat. He did look behind.
He did.
The umpire was unmoved. Don't know if the bowler... He didn't seem to hit it, though. Don't think the bowler appealed.
Good ball, actually. Just left him.
Yeah.
Our geography guru, Tony Bishop, did point out that Chattogram is nowhere near Instagram.
Yeah. Does it build ships, Tone? 29 for none. Full and driven hard by Butler. There is a man out at deep cover, though. And it'll just be the 1 run. 89 miles an hour. He's bowling with decent pace, is Taskin.
Yes, it is. Yes, we all remember that classic T-Rex song, Chattogram Sam, of course.
No.
By the way, Bear, I know you've changed the streamer, but it does still say replay on the
Oh,
top.
for fuck's sake! You got
Sorry.
Okay, I'm changing it now. Oh yeah, it
Just
does.
for you, Messi. Just for you.
There you go. Now it says live. That's halfway down the pitch, but it's on the offside, and Phil Salt can't pierce that offside field, and gets away with it really. And there's no run. End of the fourth over, 31 for none, just under 8 and over for England. It's not too bad. Over to you, Messi.
Mog says, fun fact about the Nassim Ahmed jingle, it's originally by a grindcore band called Nassim. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Funny
They're rather
enough,
like
funny
Chattogram,
enough,
not-
I
not
don't reckon that
particularly.
YouTube's algorithm will pick that up as a copyright strike. That'd be my bet. That'd be my guess. You never know, but carry on.
Yeah. Scott Bates on YouTube says 183 for 7. England win by 30 runs. Stephen Kelk says good morning all. 29 for none off 3. Woof woof. And Rich Turner Music was with us. Says morning from rainy Winchester.
Yeah, it's raining
Hello, Rich.
everywhere.
Good
You're
day.
lucky it's not snow. I think if you're in the Midlands, it's going to be snow.
I think I'd rather snow than rain.
I don't know. I was trying to drive down somewhere yesterday. That's too wide. Mustafa has bung that wide and very full, and Phil Salt hasn't missed out as he smashed it out to the extra cover boundary. It'll be 4 runs. I think that's what you call the slot. I mean,
Totally, yeah.
That's a
yeah.
lovely ball to receive. It's full. It's going across you. Gives you room to free your arms and just slap it. Which is exactly what he did.
It's looking good though, Phil Salt. So that'd be.
Well, you can always
Kick
look.
some.
You can always look good in the T20 until you slap one up in the air and get caught, can't you? I mean, but then you're forgiven. I mean, he's going along 18 off 16. I suppose it's not too bad. Depends where you are in the world. As that's flicked up to mid on, they'll get a single.
Well, this is kind of the thing. Hitting a lovely 4 and then 4 dots isn't actually that good.
No, but I'm sure you're going to have your chance to tell us all about that in 4 balls time. The man sitting to my left. Whose
I
theory,
can't
I've
see
got to
him,
say,
but-
whose theories on T20 I do actually, I tend to agree with. I think you just go. Make it entertaining at least. If you go down in flames, fuck it, who cares? The fizz is in. Butler tries to work it past him, or maybe onto the leg side, and it goes straight back to the bowler. Not sure if it was a catch. Did it bounce first? I thought it bounced first.
I think it
Maybe
did.
not. Maybe it
Well,
wasn't a caught and bowled attempt. Let's have a look.
Question though: if ODIs,
No, it's
the old
Instagram.
school 50 over a side ODIs do fade away. Say if they were to go all together, would T20s then become relatively more significant, and you'd have to take them more seriously if they were the only other form? They were the only short form game.
No, because I mean that's the thing. It's the highest risk form of the game, isn't it? And you've got to buy into the risk. As that one's played up to mid on, and there's no run. To get full reward, you've got to buy into the risk, and the risk is that you go down in flames, flailing at everything.
I always think if you were to live to 500, not 100 or 80 or whatever it is we do live to, would you be more careful crossing the road?
Nah.
Probably not. You might want to die when you're sort of 450 anyway, or 400. You go, fuck, I've had enough of this, man. So,
Well, well, it could happen, of course. Medical advantage.
but cars will be flying anyway, so I won't worry. That one's just played out to the offside, and I'll get through for single.
You fucking idiot. Leo, in response to Mog, says R.I.P. Mieszko, which means absolutely nothing to me, but apparently Mieszko I was the first king of Poland in 960 AD to 992 AD, if that's of any use to anybody.
No.
But it's probably got a grindcore reference somewhere there as well, which is way beyond me.
Butler's going to face up to the last ball of my spell, and Andy's going to come in and take over for me. You two are staying where you are and switching places, I believe. And smash!
Yes.
Oh, has he got enough on that? there's no one down there, and he has. The boundary is, of course, the obligatory 60 metres, and that was a miss-hit 6, but we love them. It's time to change.
Oh, we're just changing chairs, and Forthy and I are changing chairs, and Andy's coming in on ball by ball. G'day, Andy.
Morning.
Hello, Andy.
Morning all. Hello everyone, wherever you might be. I think a good start for England, slightly helped by extras, but they'll be happy enough. 44 for naught off 5. Salt 20 off 18. Butler has just opened up his shoulders in that last over. Have you got any more on Twitter?
It's you now, Forthy.
Cheers.
Leah's got another one.
Yes, okay. Leah. Yeah. He was the singer of Nasam, died in the 2004 tsunami in Thailand, apparently, replying to the previous tweet about the Nasam jingle.
That last 6, I think, smashed into the fan next to the England dugout in case of the ball hits the fan. Nasum is going to continue. Last over of the power play. Tosses it up. It's driven hard back at him, but he gets a hand on it. Stands with his hands on his hips for some reason. Salt again. Nice shot, but he couldn't get it through. Ooh, is that a caught and bowled chance? I'm not sure if Salt drilled that into the ground. If it bounced right in front of him. It might have been a chance. Salt again, a little bit aerial, but he's punched it up to long off, and it should be a comfortable single.
He's looking a lot more comfortable today than he was in the last ODI. He was really scratching.
Yeah, but you say that, Jez. He's on 21 off 20, and in the ODI he was striking about 100. I thought he looked really good in the last ODI. He was on 35 off about 22, and then very angry when he got himself out, as he should have been. Yeah, because England were 55 for naught, and then like 60 for 3.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Salt had been going very well. And it's all very well looking good. You've got to do more than 21 off 20 in the power play. Shorter, Butler is back, punches it out to cover, and there'll be no run.
Yeah, 35 of 25, it wasn't bad actually.
Yeah, he was smashing it. Roy was quite quiet. Salt was smashing it and then hit a short ball straight to cover and was understandably angry with himself because I thought watching it there was a big score on. Butler's hit that one way up in the air. Is it going to be safe? No. It should have been safely caught by Shakib. But he dropped it. Oh dear. Jingles.
The pimps in the crib, ma. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Butler stepped away and tried to go over cover. Just hit it straight up in the air. Shakib's right underneath and it went straight through his hands. Had a great game in the last ODI, but back to earth now.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was high, but it wasn't a hard catch.
No, he should definitely have caught that one. And he's to rub Salt in the wound. Salt has clubbed the next one past him. He's gone sprawling after it on the ground again. He couldn't get there again, and it's 4.
Now my innings going, great guns. I hit the ball, 4 runs. I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
Again, a bit of an ugly shot by Salt, but he got 4. No, thank you. And that's really what it's more all about. He steps away again, clubs that one up to long off. That's the last ball of the power play. England are 51 for naught. They'll be happy with that. Salt on 26 and Butler on 20.
That one up to...
Sorry, was that a voice from the ether?
It was briefly, yeah. I was just getting onto YouTube and didn't mute it quite in time. Let's have a quick look on Twitter. Diana Patterson says, Andy is not wearing a plaid shirt. Any comment on that?
I'm sure Jay will have comment. Yeah,
I'm sure he will. Don Diego de Silly Pants over on YouTube. Taiwan, sunny with light breeze. Very good. Nice. Scott Bates, how come Mr. Nose Fizz not playing Alas Hales? That sounds like a cryptic crossword clue. Sean Willis, good morning one and all. Nice start by England. Bartholomew Williams, morning all from wet Aylesbury. God sent Gorilla Cricket to me. Chuffing tested PO pause for COVID day 3.
Oh.
Now I have something worthwhile whilst pacing up and down my cage.
Still around, isn't it? Right, the man who...
Gutting Bart, hopefully symptoms are mild.
Yes, hope so. It's the man who had a great ODI in the last game, but back down to earth that dropped catch in the last over.
Shakib
Shaki.
That's enough of that. Steps away. Salt clubs it up to long off. Shakib again trying to bowl that arm ball that did for Jason Roy in the last ODI. Smashed into leg stump. And that game scored 75 and took 4 wickets. It's a good day for him.
He was due.
Yep, and sorry we didn't cover that game, but no one could be asked to come in at 6 a.m. start us off for a dead rubber.
That's a great excuse for didn't do my homework, sir. I just couldn't be asked.
Well, it beats the dog at it. Sky trying to fool us by showing a bunch of balls and then just in exactly the same format a real ball, which Butler clubbed back to the bowler for no run.
They thought Tony Bishop was on comms and just wanted to get him commentating.
Yeah, exactly. Butler taps that one into leg side to pick up a long single. But you picked up on WhatsApp yesterday, Jez. Tony used to be a football referee. I wanted to hear more about that as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was shocked to hear that.
I was surprised.
What sort of masochist are you?
Oh, I don't know who would do that job, especially in like Sunday League football. You get nothing but abuse for it.
I did it for a little bit, actually. It's a horrible, horrible job.
Yeah. Back to the bowler for no run. But seriously, though, what was your motivation for doing it? What were you hoping to get out of it?
My knees had gone, and I wasn't able to play football itself. And it was a way of staying in touch, and keeping relatively fit and all of those things.
Makes sense, but I guess you didn't do it for long, from what you were saying.
No, it's horrible.
Yeah, I bet it was. Punched up to long off, by Afif. There's no run. 1 run, sorry.
Yeah, and also, these players are not World Cup standard. They expect World Cup standard refereeing.
Yeah.
No, it's from what I've seen. I just you think cricket umpires get a lot of abuse? Nothing compared to football. Tickled round the corner. It's going to be another single. 4 singles off the over. It's 55 for no wicket. What's on social?
Ravi is with us. I like Andy's purple shirt / jacket. So big thumbs up from Ravi.
More burgundy, I think. I don't know how it comes across on the screen.
Yeah, you'll have to take us through the distinction between purple and burgundy when you get us.
Burgundy's more red.
Okay. Mog has demanded a Ronnie Taludka jingle is on its way to your inbox as we speak.
What a star.
You're a legend, Mog. You're a fucking legend.
And might I just say, it's probably one of the finest pieces of music that not only I, but the human race has ever composed.
Well, necessity is the mother of invention.
Indeed. Stephen Kelk on YouTube. I see we have Andy Forthy Messi. Should Bear actually be called Berry?
Should be.
And
yeah.
he had Ravi Hattie. I'm spotting a pattern here.
Spotted a patty. Nasum is in his 3rd over. Punched out to cover, and there's no run. Butler, despite...
We'd have to rechristen Hendo to
Hendy. They can't both be Nigis. Now Suma's in again. Oh, a little outside edge from Butler. It goes out to point, but there's lack of pace on it allowed them to get through for a single. Both players, 23 off 19, 28 off 25, into the 8th over. I would think a little bit of acceleration called for here.
Yeah. It's a good platform upon which to build, but yeah, they need to throw the bat a bit, don't they?
Yeah, should be looking for some boundaries.
Because if as Furlong says 180 is the par on this wicket, then they've got some work to do.
Now Summers in, tossed it up. Salt gets a thick outside edge again. It goes to short 3rd man, and I'm sure they'll pick up a single. Bowler fielders don't even throw it in. Indeed, they do. Three T20s in this series. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't skew it more to ODIs, with the ODI World Cup imminent. Butler punches that one down. It's not a chance at a catch because he hit that one into the ground. Up to long off for another single.
I suspect the marketing requires ODIs rather than T20s.
The other way around, yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. But a good result in the ODI series for England. Not many teams come and beat Bangladesh in an ODI series at home. Short. Salt pulls. It's going to go out to long on. Are they going to get 2 is the question. No.
I think it's quite telling that the only game they lost, apart from being a dead rubber, was the one in which Shakib actually performed. because he has been at the heart of their successes over the last, well, at least 5 years, maybe longer.
Yep, he can't have too long left. Of course, he had a little spell out of the game as well.
Yeah, it is.
Now, Sum goes for the reverse. Butler, it was a full toss, but he could only kind of chunk it to short third man. Another single. 5 singles off the over, nothing but singles off the last 2 overs, and that's what I think England need to improve right now.
Indeed.
Indeed. Okay, a little follow-up from Mog saying this lady gets it to Leah about the conversations about Nazem, both the the singer and the cricketer, and Bartholomew Williams to Don Diego. The silly pants, thanks. No strength, that's okay. It's the pressure in my heads. Anyone fancy some head drilling? Can't remember what that's called. Referring to the little dose of COVID there. And disinterested hand job chimes in with trepanning.
That's it, yes.
I think that's where you bore a
hole through the
it
skull.
relieves the pressure by drilling into the skull, isn't it? Or trepanation, he gets.
Is that still an approved way of doing things?
It seems unlikely, a bit like leeches. You'd think maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd get a shock if you went to the operating theatre and they produced the leeches, wouldn't you?
You would.
A reminder that we've got about 10 minutes left on the GPL, and the current pot is standing £122.
Butler is down the track, but he can only get it 2 bounces to long on for another single. Still good intent. Shakib continues. 61 for naught, just started the 9th over.
And somebody's expecting a very high-scoring game, having predicted 487 runs for the game.
Well, maybe they were watching that PSL game, which was 240 against 240 that Jason Roy scored the runs in. Punched out to cover by Salt, and there's no run. Something arising from that game. Quite unusually, Simon Dool criticised Babar Azam, who scored 100, for looking for the milestone rather than helping the team. Salt plays one back to the bowler for no run. And an actual journalist from Pakistan said, should the PCB intervene? He wants boards to intervene in commentators expressing their opinions. And as I said on Twitter, good luck trying that here.
Wow.
Salt, someone's got to intervene in his innings because he's got 30 off 30 and he can only chunk that one back to the bowler. And
well, it was interesting listening to the TV coverage of the India-Australia match and the adulation for Modi and the supposedly 130,000 people who were actually 50,000 in the stadium.
Well, you want to keep your job, you got to kiss that particular arse in India.
Yes.
Only 2 off the over so far. Salt managed to get that one into the leg side. He was driving around on a gold golf cart, I saw.
Well, I would refer it more to a sort of cross between a chariot and a bath. There was a famous incident of what's called a Batmobile used at an AFL Grand Final once. I think this was a Bathmobile.
That would be an unedifying sight. Modi soaping the suds down his back. High up in the air from Butler. Has he got enough on that one? I think he probably has. Yes, he does. It's almost in exactly the same spot. Nearly hit that fan again. And it's gone for 6. A welcome 6 for England, if not for that particular piece of equipment, which is taking a battering out there.
Oh, I say, chap, give me any lip.
Right, okay. There's a bit of COVID talk happening over on YouTube. Jeremiah says, I got it on my birthday while on holiday recently. Started like a cold for 1.5 days, then was a flu for 2 days, then fades and leaves you tired with a cough for a week or so. Disinterested ham job, referring to trepanation or trepanning. I'm pretty sure they still do remove bits of skull when there's swelling on the brain, but maybe not just drilling holes to let the demons out. My anchor, this is very much the topic of the moment, it's still standard to drill a hole in your skull when having too much pressure, otherwise you'd fucking explode. And finally, Ravi, okay, Andy may love Iron Maiden and wear a burgundy shirt over a pink t-shirt, but damn it, I cannot hate him for being beardless or vegan. I should, but I can't.
Oh, hey, look, vegan is a choice. Beardless is not. I assure you, it took me about 2 years to grow one. Salt clubs that one up to long off, and there's just a single.
Dear. And it's a choice of which those of us who aren't vegan feel slightly jealous.
Nice shot by Butler. He's found the gap with that reverse sweep, and that's gone for 4. So Butler, as he often does, is finding the right time to accelerate. He really is a masterful T20 batsman, and Salt has got to look at him and learn from his example. Butler's on again. He just punches that into the offside. It will just be a single.
Yeah, when you look at it, Butler's got a strike rate of exactly 150 and Salt of 100.
Yes.
It's time to shit or get off the pot, basically.
It is a bit too many dots from Salt. Faces up again. Nasum is in. He's down the track this time. And he's hit that way up in the air. Now, has he got enough of that? I don't think so. No, yes, he has. He has. Fair play to that one. I didn't think that had gone far enough, but it did. Didn't really get to the pitch, that was why, and he kind of hoisted it up, but as the bear said, these aren't the longest boundaries, and that's made it over. Well, 88 metres to be fair.
The fielder seemed to be 3 yards behind the boundary. I'm not sure quite what happened there.
Is he trying to do one of those ridiculous catches that shouldn't be allowed? Salt punches that one out to cover, to Shakib, and probably not getting a run. Nope. But at least he has found the boundary.
He's not allowed to jump from outside the boundary because his last point of contact before his first touch of the ball has to be within the boundary.
It's got a bit ridiculous. It's one of those rules that's evolved, and they should really just start again. He might be out, so the keeper thinks so. It's short. He's gone back to cut it. He's got an under edge, and that is probably a bit of a mercy for England because it's the end of Phil Salt, and it's also the end of my spell. The Bear's going to come back in, and England are 80 for 1, but they have reviewed it.
I've reviewed it. I think is there a ball left of the over or not?
I'm a bit premature on everything. Isn't
it
this ball? I think it's this ball. Let's just wait and see what happens with this review before I preemptively bring up the sting.
So you could say if he is out, he both shat and got off the pot in the same over.
Indeed. Oh, where is it?
Yes, there is. He's out.
Ultra Edge says yes, and indeed, Sting can resume, and we will hang over. Hand over.
We will. Very good. I'll see you in 5 overs.
Okay. And as far as tweets are concerned, Mog says that Batmobile was the same year the VFL had Angry Anderson singing at half time. I think 87 or 89ish. I think 87.
Angry Anderson. Collins, that's all I heard.
Yeah, Adam Collins is now one of the co-owners of the old Batmobile, which they lend out from time to time. He was talking about buying the Bathmobile as well, but I don't think he will. So we're up to date on Twitter. Pokey Bumfingers joined us on YouTube, says, morning. Mark Lee says, hiya, morning peeps. And Stephen Kelk says, after those ODI games and tests, I'd forgotten just how violent T20 could be.
Well, it can indeed. And we say good morning to Hattie. How are you, Hattie?
I'm extremely well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm okay. It's not too bad. It's cold here in London, but the heating's working, so that's all good news.
Yeah, it's cold and snowy up here as well. It's ridiculous.
Well, you're in the Midlands, aren't you? You're going to get it all today, isn't it? It's going to be blizzardy type conditions, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, it was similar yesterday, and then I woke up this morning. We've had another inch overnight, and it's still going.
Oh, crikey.
Lovely. I love it.
No, I mean, I love the snow, don't get me wrong, but it's just that we put the bins out overnight, and then you're just like, okay, I mean, I've got to bring them back in again this morning, because my daughter's online lessons today, so I'm just like,
teachers, no, it's not, you got a teacher strike going on up there?
No, she's at college, but she's at college
okay.
Down south, but they're online lessons.
Yeah, no.
We're on a drinks break, by the way, which is why we're not commentating on any cricket.
Indeed, it's 10 overs have gone. England 81. I don't think they do. I mean, the thing is, I don't even know what an average score on this pitch is in first innings in a T20.
That's unlucky, isn't it?
But I'd imagine in the subcontinent, these kinds of conditions, you can get 160, 170, you're kind of in the game. It doesn't look like a particularly quick pitch. It's not particularly bouncy. Somewhere up there should around about do it. England at 80 for 1 are probably set to be above that, I'd have thought.
This is the first time I've switched on, so just to see Salt get out like that with a bit of a hoik, a bit disappointing.
Wow, it's T20, isn't it? You've got to try and hit the leather off every ball. As Andy said, he didn't really set the world on fire, but 80 for 1 after 10 ain't too bad. You've got time to accelerate now. Well, England are sticking to their guns rather than doing what they've done in the past, which is if 10 overs are gone, Darren Milan doesn't come out at number 3, he is coming out.
Introducing the next generation David.
That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name.
Darwin Milan, congratulations.
And much maligned Darwin Milan. I don't know why people malign him so much. I think he's pretty decent. I suppose he can be a bit slow and turgid at times, but so can everyone else.
You can't
really.
spell David.
Well, yeah, you can't spell.
You're taking wickets for India, Bear. Hanscom is just been bowled by Shami. Had his knock. Is off stump.
Oh, it must be about a new ball by now, aren't they? I mean, they were going along at such a turgid rate.
70 overs, Australia 170 for 4.
Yeah, you see, they've been very diligent, but if you start losing wickets and you're only still on 170, I mean, you've lost Marnus and Steve Smith. I always think once you get those two out, there's a little bit of trepidation in Australia. That one's clipped up to long on, and they'll get a single. They could get wrapped up quite quickly on a pitch that does look reasonably flat for the time being. Is this a change of bowling? Hassan? Have we had a Hassan jingle? I don't think we have.
It is a change of bowling, yes.
It's Hassan Mahmood, yes?
Yes.
When he was good, he was Hassan Mahmood. But when he was bad, was you bastard.
Well, thanks to Mog, we do have a new jingle.
Amazing. Amazing.
He's managed to get the Roni Talukdar jingle in good time. Thank you very much, Mog. That's just appended out to the covers and there's no run. We shall see if it's the greatest piece of music ever produced. We'll be the judge of that, not you. But we shall wait for this masterpiece until he's due in. That was a dot ball. Darren Milan just playing it out to the covers. Next ball, he does what Darren Milan does and guides it past backward point with those soft little hands. This is how he starts before being a bit more expansive, and he gets it down to third man for a single. And I guess that's the complaint about him. He likes to tick over a couple of singles to get himself in, where people think he should blast it from the off, which is also another way of doing it, because if he does get out after 7 balls, scoring 7 runs, coming in the 10th over, it's not particularly useful in a T20. But hey, Joss is carrying on at the other end. He's 38 off 26. Captain's innings, a little shimmy with his shoulders. This is how he does it, and he clips that one up. Can't beat the man at wire mid on, and they'll get a single. 83 for 1.
Mog says that jingle will bless your fucking ears, Nigel.
Excellent. That's what I'm looking forward to, Moggy. You're an E2 though. Yeah. Don't ever call me Barry or Nigel. I will get very upset. Storm off set.
Oh dear. Not something we want to see.
Milan tries to drive that one. It keeps very low. Goes under his bat, I think, through to the keeper, and there's no run.
You're not a stormer. You really aren't there.
No, I'm not.
You'd fail at that.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I can take it. Darren Milan, 1 off 3. Strike rate of 33.33. Terrible. England 83 for 1. Last ball of the 11th over. He strong arms that into the leg side out to long on. He'll get himself a single and still to strike. Really useful. Over to you, Messi.
Mayank says, I always chuckle when Brits complain about snow. You guys freak out after a measly 2 or 3 inches. In California, they got 7 feet last week, and across the Dakotas and Minnesota, they'll get over 2 feet today alone.
Wow. See, that's proper snow. I wouldn't mind that. That's proper snow. The shit we get, it's only 1 or 2 inches. It melts in about 4 hours and makes everything slushy and shit. And it's never deep enough. You can never actually do anything. You can never do anything with it.
No.
So it's just, and to be fair, because we're so shit at dealing with weather, everything stops working. You know, a little bit of snow stops trains, buses, everything. Electricity starts going down. It's pathetic, really. But hey,
I wasn't complaining, but no, I love it really.
Leo manages another tweet that I don't understand. It just says "Ach, Bachen," and Mark says, "Seriously, Bear, you tell us about not liking the diminutive and expect us not to say it?"
yeah, I know. And I was asking for it. Don't you worry. Oh, that's a big slog sweep by Darren Milan, but he doesn't get enough on it, and it goes down deep back of square leg. One bounce fielded, just beat a single, bringing partner on strike. 39 off 27. Shakib, I mean, that was a howler of a drop earlier as well, wasn't it? I mean, that was the simplest of simple catches, and he fucked it up. If Butler goes on to get, 100 off 60 here or something like that, that'd be the turning point of the game, you'd have thought. And he's on 39. He's dropped on about 16 or something like that.
Okay.
Absolute howler. Shaki round the wicket to Butler, who plays that out into the offside. They go through for a single. He took enough pace off it that they could scoot through for the quick single. Bringing Darren Milan back on strike. What do you reckon? 160, 170 for England?
Yeah, I reckon they need at least 170.
I think that'll be a reasonably good score on this track.
Yeah.
If there is dew, obviously it'll be harder to bowl second time round. It'll skid onto the bat, might make it easier to bat. Fullish by Shakib, driven by Darren Milan, out to wide long on. They'll just amble through for an easy single. Difficult to get.
Who are England's bowlers in this game apart from Jordan? I presume Rashid.
No, we got Wood, we got Archer. We've got a full-on attack in this one.
Okay, so we'll need at least 170, 180 then, I reckon.
Well, yeah, it might be that pace is not the thing to have, to be fair. As that's, mind you, they've got extreme pace. I think that overcomes sluggish pitches. That's clipped up to Shanto at long on, and he'll get a single.
I agree entirely. That extra, 8 to 10 kilometres an hour makes it so much harder.
Yeah, it does. Even on the most sluggish of pitches,
Yeah, and then they can bowl the odd off.
Down the track comes Darren Milan. He took that quite flat and not. Well, it would have gone for 6, but he hit it too flat and didn't get enough elevation on it, and it's gone straight down to long on straight. I suppose it doesn't matter. He was there for 6 balls, got 4 runs. At least he's got out. If he's not going to score it, well, we got 8 wickets in the hutch. We only got 8 overs left, for crying out loud. We can lose. We can lose a wicket and over. Everyone's just got to be trying to slap boundaries now. That's how I play this from here on in. Let's give him that one.
The crowd says, you're out.
And that goes back to why Salt will probably stay hanging around this side, because he can biff a quick runs every once in a while. Does it matter if you get out in a T20? I don't think it does, really, as long as you don't waste time.
Yeah, well, as long as you don't keep doing it for very little.
Well, yeah, but I mean, at this point in the game, when you've only got 8 overs left, everyone's got to just go. There's enough slap-happy batsmen who can hit a boundary in this team that they could quite easily get 190 if they go for it. They could collapse in a heat from here to 120, but yeah, it'd be entertaining watching. Oh, Ben Duckett's coming out. Forgot he was actually playing. Here he is.
He arrived with a smile and he's going places. He's looking good now, he's in with the aces. He was up at Stowe School playing T20. He might play for England, but he'll still be Ben Duckett to me.
His first ball, he just works down to long on, just about beats the man at mid wicket, gets himself a single. All the advertising.
That's the first time I've heard his jingle.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, it's good.
It's great. Josie Oak says, morning. If the bear doesn't like Barry, then I guess we could go full Johners and call him Bearers. Well, that's
fuck
how
off.
it misses, I suppose. Mark says, you'd be surprised how quickly this joint goes to hell in a handbasket when there's a bit of hot weather. And Leah says the tweet I read was the German diminutive of bear. And Ravi says, oh, Barry, Nigel, we love you.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, God. Jay says, bizarrely, after years of truculently denying my birthday, I've just got a lavish haul of gifts for my 45th of all ages. That's reading matter and beard care sorted for a wee bit. Happy birthday, Jay.
Happy birthday, Jay. You're 7 years younger than me. I'm going to be 52 in 6 days' time. Ugh.
Oh, bless you.
Cut. Forced off the back foot by Duckett out to the man on the fence. It'll be a single.
Are we going to be online for you?
Sorry?
Are we going to be online for your birthday, darling?
I don't think so. I think the last one's on the 14th, actually. And then we got I'm not sure we're going to do much IPL this year. The youngsters are going to find it hard to regularly keep up with the show. And bar Andy, I'm not sure that most of us actually watch much IPL, so we kind of need people who actually know about it. We're doing a show. We can fill in around them. That one's angled down leg side. There's an appeal by Hassan, but it was full on the pads of Butler going down. Umpire's not interested. Players turn out not to be that interested. England remain 90 for 2. Butler's into the 40s, 41 off 29. Duckett 2 off 2.
This is why Butler's just so good at opening, isn't he? It surprised me that he didn't open in the 50 overs. I mean, because he's just so good.
Yeah, but in the 50 overs he acts as a finisher, doesn't he? I mean, Hassan is in. It's cut with those hands of Duckett's where he just seems to be able to get everything behind square. That one goes dead square. A bit of a misfield at points. They did go through for the single though. Yeah, I mean, this is it. He's a finisher. You give him 20 overs in a T20, he can be really destructive. I don't think you want him opening. Sorry, in an ODI. I don't think you want him opening in an ODI.
I agree.
It's
I think with T20s, you really want your best batters opening.
Yes, because you got to go from the top. Whereas now, I mean, but this is the the growth of ODIs when after T20s became so prominent. Heaved into the leg side by Butler. Can't beat the man at long on, but they should get back for 2. There aren't many 2s on this ground, to be fair. The boundaries are so short, but they found one there. ODI is now played like a 30 over game in a T20 almost. You can go along at 4, 5, 6 and over to get to 30 overs and get yourself to 140, 150 as long as you've got wickets in hand. Just play the end like a T20 and you can still get up to 400. It's really noticeable in the last sort of 4 or 5 years how that's played out since the last World Cup really. Hassan in, smashed back over the bowler's head all the way flat. I'm going to call that a genuine one of these if I can find it.
Smack it in the air, smack it in the air, legs moving side to side, smack it in the air, smack it in the air.
Smaximum.
That's a great shot. Yeah.
This is 50 as well.
It is a 50. Yeah.
But no, that's fair cop actually. And I mean, we remember like last year's IPL, Butler was like shoved down the middle order, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then they switched him to opener, and then that's when he really took off, and his team really took off towards the end as well, didn't they?
Indeed. And that's another one of these. 2 in a row. In fact, there is a jingle for consecutive 6s. I was a bit slow on playing it. And as you say, Butler has got to 50.
You know you lift me with your 50.
And what's interesting actually, the ball prior to his first 6, which took him to his 50, they showed a replay that Duckett would have been run out on going for that second run had it been a direct hit.
Yes, I saw that. But
it's extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah.
The variables of cricket, I love it.
Well, indeed. Got to take that chance though. I mean, this is it. Unless you get it in the gap, and the thing is, if you get in the gap, you're generally getting 4 on this ground, aren't you? I mean, the boundaries are tiny. I mean, look how much they brought them in straight. Square, they're not particularly big anyway, but down the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're looking at. Are they looking at whether it got over the boundary? It clearly did. This is what I hate about T20s. The first 10 overs go really, really quick, and then everything just slows down for the last 5 overs. It's just like constant field changing, constant chats.
Well, that last 6 was 82 metres, and it was over probably the longest boundary at deep mid-on, and went by about 15 metres over.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Drilled down the ground by Duckett, gets himself a single, brings Butler back on strike.
Behind square, I think you find.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
I don't know which camera angle you were looking at.
No, I wasn't really watching the screen, so I made it up. I was looking down at the computer. Shh, don't give the secrets away. People are listening to this on the radio. That's a misfield as it's clipped behind square by Butler, and this time they do get back for 2.
You're just lucky you're not on with Knackle.
Oh, you know.
Yeah.
We could do this when Chris Jordan's bowling. It's fine. We'll just make it up. Oh, he's bowling beautifully. We'll just make it up.
Well, I mean, let's face it. The Dick Weller Broad Trophy brought a lot of invention to non-existent shots.
Exactly. That's defended. Well, pushed at by Butler. He's trying to find a gap on the offside. Instead, only finds the fielder at wide mid-off on the edge of the circle. They don't go through for a single this time. England 109 for 2 in the 14th over. That's on the pads, clipped into the vacant mid-wicket, and they'll just get a single out for the man in the deep, who has to leg it in a long way because it only just made it out of the circle. It looks hot, and Josh Butler is sweating. 2,660 runs in 104 matches, strike rate of nearly 145. That's pretty good.
That's amazing, actually, over that period of time.
Interesting, they don't put up an average. It's more about strike rates and stuff. Swept. Duckett, the king of the sweep, and he gets what he's good at. So he sweeps it square on the leg side, finds a gap, and it's 4 runs. Now I'm not sure if Duckett's playing the BPL. I imagine he has. He's the kind of player I imagine plays Pakistani Super League, the BPL. Players who can't get IPL contracts. That's swept out to deep backward square leg this time, and it'll just be the single. There's a whole tier of players who don't get IPL, but actually they get loads of experience everywhere else, and the IPL just drags in all the attention really. But the PSL and the BPL, I mean the PSL is quite competitive, I think. Not that I know much about it, but seems to be some good players going there. BPL less so, but if you want a contract, you want some quick money, I guess you go and play it, don't you? Even if they're offering you 100 grand for 4 weeks' work. It's better than a kick in the teeth.
Yes, that's right.
115 for 2 after 14 overs for England. To get an aerial shot at the ground. Very nice. Boundaries very short, straight. It's decent crowding.
He has played 6 Pakistan Super League games with an average of 15 and a strike rate of 107, so that wasn't his forte.
No, we did all right in the test matches, no, didn't he? Has he got a BPL record? Duckett has
can't find one. No.
Oh, right. Duckett has gone right across his stumps and ramped that over the keeper. That's a great shot. And he'll get himself 4 runs. Really well done. He's walked right across his stumps. So, I think the bowler, to be fair, has followed him to try and stop that, but he's just put his bat down there and just let it come off the meat of the bat. Good timing. It's gone straight over the keeper's head, cut the bouncers, and 4 runs directly behind the keeper. Can't stop that from going for 4.
No, I saw a bit of it. I remember Duckett in the Pakistani Test series. He was playing a bit like this, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Not as quickly, but with similar shots.
Indeed. Taskin in. That's driven straight past the bowler. Can't beat mid-off though, and it'll be 1. Butler's ambling, and then realises the ball's being thrown at his end. Leans forward to put his bat in.
Birthday wishes. Mog says, happy birthday, Jay, you elderly bradman. Mayank says, my 29th birthday was Monday, and you guys skipped the T20 that day, you bastards. It wasn't, it was an ODI.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about that. 120 for 2. But 59 off 36 facing up Taskin in his third over. He's gone for 20 so far as he bowls a full toss, which Butler gets underneath and just about gets over the cover fielder. He had a good dive at it. Probably didn't get as much elevation as he wanted on it, but he still races down to the cover boundary for 4 runs.
2 + 2 is on my mind. 2 + 2 is on my mind.
Nice shot, good timing.
Yeah, went way over him, didn't it?
Not sure Taskin, that's what he wanted, but at the end of this over we're going to have a change. Forthy's going to do some ball by ball. Me and Andy are going to sit here and yap together.
Okay.
To close out the innings. As Taskin stops in his run up. I think Butler has to score 8 sixes to beat Owen Morgan's all-time 6 record for England in T20s.
That's gone quick, hasn't it? God.
Yeah. Well, he must be the number 1 T20 batter in the world these days, isn't he? Butler? Or is Malan still top of that list somehow? That one's mistimed into the leg side out towards mid-wicket, and he'll get himself a single. We can duck it back on strike. He's nearly got a 200 strike rate, so he'll be happy. England looking at a big score here.
You'd hope so. I mean, Duckett just needs to kind of do what he does best and then get the strike back to Butler as well.
Yeah, exactly.
He's playing a nice little nuggety innings, isn't he?
Well, more than nuggety, 37 off 17 deliveries this partnership.
You got that message, didn't you?
Taskin.
Nuggety.
Nuggety, ducked. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, sorry. No, I didn't get it. Work round the corner, down towards long leg, and there'll be a single. Current run rate 8.49. Projected score 170. I imagine it'll go up from that. 10 gets 178. I think they'll be looking for more than that even from here. I think they'll be looking at more 185, 190, wouldn't they? I'll ask Andy after this.
I think, yeah, you're looking at least 50 off the last 5 overs.
These days, yeah, at least 10 and over. But you want more than that, I think. Especially with the amount of wickets in hand. You've got 8 wickets in hand. 5 overs to go. You want to be looking at
Moen and Curran and Wokes. So.
Yeah, precisely. Some big hitters. Last ball is a slower cutter outside the off stump, and Butler misses it and goes through the keeper, and there's no run. We'll have a switcheroo. Forty is going to come on to give us some ball by ball.
Hi, Ian.
Andy,
the next tweet is from Mog about Danny Morrison.
See you later.
I'm looking forward to it already.
Bye.
Thanks, Bear. Thanks, Hattie. Thanks, Messi. Who's left? This is like, and then there were none. I think Andy's there, but who else am I on with?
Me and Andy.
Of course, it can't be Control R like everything else. iPods just have to be something different.
It's not even an iPod.
Whatever it is, I don't care. It's bad.
Sorry, Forty. Carry on.
No worries at all. 126 for 2 at the end of the 15th. Butler going like a train, and Mustafizur and Hassan have been somewhat targeted, but Shakib's bowled pretty economically. But we will see what happens from here. It's Mustafizur time. He's gone from 18 off his first 2 overs. He's in left arm over the wicket to Duckett, who hits it straight to point. I don't think there'll be any run there.
Nah. Where do you think we should be at the end of this? Predictions?
1-8 at the end of the whole thing.
Yeah.
188, I'd say.
Yeah, it should be around 185 from here. It does come to a point where being 2 down and 4 down really isn't any different. You've always got so many wickets in there. It doesn't matter that much.
Exactly.
You
want
right.
basically
There's
at least a 6 or 2 4s and over, don't you? And then whatever else comes.
Probably
up.
some card playing equivalent you guys will be familiar with. Duckett repeats that shot he played in the last over, and this one he's ramped, come right across his wicket and ramped it. May even have gone all the way, is it?
No,
just for 4.
Just dropped short.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He's pretty good at that shot, isn't he?
Well, he's clearly, clearly premeditating it.
He's been a bit of a revelation, actually, in the last 12 months, Duckett, hasn't he? We've been very pleased with what we're seeing.
Certainly taken his chance. He's done it twice. He's just showed he can do that off a full ball or a short ball. He just premeditates it and deals with it.
19 off 11. He just takes a little step back, has an almighty ungainly swipe, but that's okay. He's given the strike back to Butler, who is after all on 64 off 39, so England will be quite happy with that. England 131 for 2.
It's not like Butler's batting with a tail ender. I don't think they're that concerned about who has the strike.
No, I mean, especially if
right,
Duckett's going along at nearly 2 a ball as well, anyway. What the hell? If he can flick it over the keeper's head.
That is a remarkable shot. The precision with which that innovation of a shot has been mastered by a new generation of cricketers is quite mind-boggling, really. You have to... anyway. Butler does his little shoulder twitch, means he's in the mood, and that's right up in the block hole on leg stump, but they still managed to manoeuvre it down to deep square leg for 2 runs.
That's good running. There aren't many 2s on this ground.
Yeah, perfectly good ball, really. Maybe a touch over pitched, but very fast running from Butler, who's extremely impressive athlete, at top of all these other credentials.
Got to be lean and fit these days, Forthy, unlike in our day.
Well, yes, indeed. Yeah, one remembers Fred Rumsey from the 1960s. That one is a short bouncer, a slow bouncer, one of the Andy Roberts specials, and Butler can only really just manage it round the corner for a single. Will it be in classic Andy Roberts style, fast finished, followed up with a fast bouncer? We shall see.
Well, I don't remember Fred Rumsey, but with a name like that, what else could he be? A chunky medium pacer.
That's more or less exactly what he was. He was a spinner, I think. He was enormous, from what I remember. Someone will write in and say, I've got him.
It's all in the shoulder. You don't have to have a runner.
Look at Shane Warne. And here we are again. Mustafi's, well, that's an oddball. Full, wide, so wide that it is a wide, in fact. It didn't even bounce this side of the wicket.
So umpires spread your wings and call wide.
Yeah, only the second wide of the innings, but so they haven't let it quite get away from them yet, but they must be nervous of the last 4 overs here, Bangladesh. Mustafis in again, and he's completely cleaned up Duckett. Got it through. His leg stump has been splattered out of the ground, and Duckett is out for 20. England 135 for 3.
That didn't get up at all, did it?
Yeah, kept low.
Really kept low. He was expecting that up a lot higher than that. It's gone through, but about knee high.
It's actually his off stump that's been gone, and Duckett looks to the heavens, and can't blame him, really. Nothing much he could do about that.
How's that? You missed about, I caught you out. How's that?
Good little cameo, though. 20 or 13.
Fine, yeah. Mike Taylor says, Bear, if you're going to make things up on commentary, please make my summer one to remember with a lovely Ashes whitewash, Piggy Smith Golden Ducks in every innings. Whereas Tim Wall says, call me old-fashioned, but the audio commentary should roughly match the pitch.
Yeah, it does.
That is a bit old-fashioned, I think.
Well, it does most of the time. It's just occasionally if you miss a ball, you
make it up.
You make it up.
Like that guy who got fired for plagiarising one line of ball by ball. Do you remember that? It was a bit harsh. He should have just made it up. Leah says the first PSL season was a shit show. Yes, 5 teams and 4 going through. It's 6 teams now, I think. Ravi says, let's jinx Butler. Can he score another T20I century? It never works when you do it on purpose. Which means he is going to get a century.
Well, we've got a new batsman, and it will be...
Our bed shouldn't touch. Move over, Amlo. I like it too much. Move over, Amlo. You're one hairy dish I love unconditionally. It's Moeen Ali.
Oh, double reverse jinx.
Yeah, well...
And straight out.
Exactly. His bloody jinx worked. You called it.
I reversed it.
You bloody did reverse it.
Yes.
On your bike, mate.
So Hassan went into Butler, and Butler played the shot he's been playing successfully all innings, but did not get all of it on this occasion and hold out to mid-on. He's gone for 67 off 42. He's done his bit. Can England press on for the last 4 overs?
Well, it's the kind of thing that puts the brakes on in the T20 innings. Two guys, it shouldn't do, but often does. They are next.
Well, just by the fact of 2 guys who haven't faced a ball with all the right intent, you know, they're not going to score as freely just yet.
No, I'm going to play Sam Curran's jingle. I think that was the doorbell. Hold on. I think Brian might have sent us something, I'm hoping. See you shortly.
Is he a batter or bowler? Sam Curran. What's his distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. His dad's from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And he's beloved by Liz Yates. Sam Curran.
Curran, of course, the most expensive player in the last IPL auction. A very well-timed World Cup for him.
Very, very much so. I mean, he's got a batting average which is nothing to write home about, and his strike rate is 130, which is also nothing to write home about, and you're wondering what's that all about, but he had a great World Cup.
Well, it's international cricket as well, and to be fair, I think he was a lot better value than the 2 players who went for very close to the same money, Green and Stokes. I'd rather have Curran at around that price.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He's a very thoughtful cricketer, particularly when it comes to his bowling, but he's facing on batting now, and he manages to get that ball straight down to mid-off, and there is no run.
Now, what's in there today, most importantly?
We've got a delivery of Cafe Nero here.
Yep.
I think there's a coffee and another coffee.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like some pastries.
Pastry.
And a third coffee. Maybe that's a tea. Do you want tea?
I'll have a tea if there's a tea.
Actually, since I last saw you, I've had
coffee?
3 tacos while I was off air, which my wife
coffee as well, yeah.
Well,
while the guys are tucking in, Hassan's bowled another. It's gone straight back down pitch, and there is there is an appeal. I think what happened was Hassan managed to get his fingers on it, and it clipped the bail. Has the non-striker Moeen got back in time? There doesn't seem to be too much alarm from England, but let us find out. With the Mr. White decision is pending.
Mr. White wasn't Mr. White Breaking Bad, wasn't it?
That's Walter White, but
Walter
Mr. White is one of Reservoir Dogs.
Yes, of course. Yes.
And no doubt there's plenty out there in the Twitter sphere who can tell you which particular actor
I
played
asked that last time. We thought it was Harvey Keitel, but we weren't sure. He's certainly got a finger on that. If he's not back, it's going to be out.
Yeah, he's definitely got a finger on it. He looks like he should be back.
I'd show us the bit where he's back or not.
Oh.
Well,
he's back anyway.
Yeah.
Back, he's back. Yes, Moeen doing the responsible thing.
There you go. Just another point for actually staying in your crease till the bowler releases the ball.
Yeah.
Moeen should be the key man for England here on the basis of his massive experience and a strike rate of 146, but one doesn't really have the same sense of confidence that perhaps one did a few years ago when Moeen comes to the wicket. Anyway, Sam Curran is facing up, manages to negotiate that one, but straight to the man at the shortish cover. The runs have completely dried up this over.
Well, Moeen is very much shit or bust, isn't he?
Well, he's certainly capable of 30 off 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially off the spinners.
He's equally capable of 0 off 3.
Well, four balls for no runs in the 17th over is not what England were looking for.
Wicket ... so far this over, as Andy says. This is a brilliant over for Bangladesh. That's right in the block hole. All Sam Curran can do is hit it straight back to the bowler. We're heading for a wicket maiden at the moment.
That'd be something.
In the 17th over of a T20. 1 ball to go. Very good bowling, has to be said. Well, obviously it had.
Also with two new batters at the crease.
That's what I said, yeah.
Yeah, we're just having a look at the last 10 balls or so, and the runs have dried up indeed. Sam Curran does manage to get that away. He keeps the strike, just manages to get that. Not necessarily a great result for England. They're 136 for 4 at the end of the 17th.
Tim Wall says, while listening to your dulcet tones, the lovely thing about the Sound Down ECB cricket video is their slow-mo aerial shots of the city in between overs. You can watch the cars on the nearby streets. Of course, for some reason, not quite sure why, ECB showing this one as well as Sky. Tim Wall gives us a picture of Fred Romsey. He doesn't look that fat to me. He looks all right. Looks quite normal.
Yeah.
And Jay says, not this fucking Mr. White conversation again. Bunch of stoners. Well, they you know, we react to simple things. Seeing Mr.
But
White
you won't
on
get
the screen.
Mr. White conversations like that.
No, you will not.
On your mainstream broadcasters.
I do remember everyone wanted to be Mr. Black, so they didn't have a Mr. Black. I remember Steve Buscemi was Mr. Pink.
I was Steve Buscemi. I thought it was Tim Roth. I was thinking about that the other day, but no, you're right. It was Steve
maybe I'm
Buscemi.
wrong.
A bit annoyed about being Mr. Pink.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Why am I Mr. Pink?
Yeah.
So that one is sprayed down the leg side, but Mustafiz for a leg side wide.
Why?
I think was Edward Bunker Mr. Blue. I'm absolutely making this up as I go along here because I can't remember. But so it was Edward Bunker. It was Steve Buscemi, Quentin Tarantino,
Michael
Harvey
Madsen,
Keitel, Tim Roth, and Michael Madsen. I think those are the 6. Nice Guy Eddie was played by Sean Penn's brother, I think.
Chris Penn. Yeah.
Okay, so back to the cricket. That one is played out for a single by Sam Curran. The score moves along by 1.
Yeah, Samuel
Run right down to 8.
Samuel L. was the driver, wasn't he?
I went. Joe Brand did the skit. It was the Sutton Amateur Dramatics performance of Reservoir Dogs. It's a bunch of middle-aged women going, "Stop pointing that fucking gun at my dad."
I'd very much like to see that. That's terrific. Very influential film. It's not brilliant on female characterization. The only one in it gets shot is driving a car. I do remember that.
Would you say that's a weakness of Tarantino?
Yeah, definitely, I would. Yes.
Yeah.
The same way that Cormac McCarthy can't write female characters, Quentin Tarantino can't do them either. Although Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Margot Robbie's actually pretty good in that.
That's very. I only saw that a couple of months ago. That's a great film.
Is okay. So that one's played out for a single by Moeen. He's 1 off 1. Sam Curran's 2 off 6. This is not what the doctor ordered as far as England are concerned. Just 2 balls into the 18th over.
No, they've kind of ground to a halt. Almost looking at 165 now, which I think would be under par. Then you've got to maybe start thinking about that 30 off 30 from Salt and saying, was that what we needed?
Well, no, but then well, I'm going to say the most.
So Mustafi's in again, and it's another single. Runs have indeed dried up. Played out to mid-on by Curran. Moeen back on strike. England 144 for 4. 140 for 4.
The clichéest of clichés, you can't judge a pitch until both sides are battered. Maybe it is only a 160 pitch. It doesn't look like it, to be fair.
Looks okay. Well, the odd one's kept low.
So for England's sake it is. I mean, Bangladesh, their forte is not necessarily T20s. They're more of an ODI team.
And their forte isn't batting either.
No, that is true. Big inside edge, but it doesn't play on there, Moeen. Really hasn't got his eye in yet, but, you know, it's very difficult to straight away.
Wasn't that a
Dot
leg
ball,
leg
gully.
That was a leg spinner, essentially, out the back of the hand.
Yeah, back of the hand job, yeah.
I wonder
Terrific control to bowl a back of the hand leg spinner at that pace.
When you're running in that fast, it's some signs that, I don't know, maybe the actual express pace might not be the thing. Maybe it's more this kind of 80 miles an hour is more effective on this pitch. We'll see.
Oh, that one comes in at Moeen, straight into his chest. He manages to swat it away down to the man at deep square for a single.
That again, I think it was the same ball, but banged into the pitch and a complete did him. No, it was just that time it was an off cutter. Off cutters into the pitch. Well, I mean, they are telegraphing what works. Sammy Curran's good at an off cutter into the pitch.
He'll be making notes.
England's army of seamers in this game. They've got Wood, Archer, Jordan, Wokes, and Curran.
Yeah, and Adil
so Sam Curran on
Rashid.
Strike for the last ball of the over. Mustafi's in, and it's a full bunger. And Sam Curran hits it straight down the ground, but it's intercepted at mid-on, who throws it to mid-off. Long on to long off, rather. They come through for 2. England 143 for 4 at the end of the 18th. 2 overs to go.
Jonathan Shawland, yes. Mr. White was Harvey Keitel. Tim Wall confirms, and we're up to date on Twitter.
Who was the guy? Which one was the one who cut Michael Madsen who cut the ears off then?
I think he was Mr.
Yeah.
Orange. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched Reservoir Dogs, but it's not the greatest film.
It's raw. It's got its moments.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're having that conversation in the diner about tipping, that was just something you hadn't seen in films at all up to that point.
Yeah, it was hugely influential, that one scene, wasn't it? The behind the scenes of being a gangster, the kind of boredom and mundanity of it.
Which was basically the entire basis of The Sopranos.
Yes.
Yeah, indeed it is. Yeah, that's right.
Indeed.
Okay, so Hassan on for the crucial 19th over. It's been 16 balls since the last boundary, we're reminded. He's into Moeen, who has a smear, but would go straight to the man at mid-off, who has a shy at the stumps, and there's an overthrow, and they come through for a single.
And Shakib shrugs and doesn't look very happy.
Well, it's a tough one for the bowler. He's got to get straight back out of his run-up, and it's a bit of a low bounce on him.
Yes, and if and Shakib is very unhappy. There's a shot at the stumps. I'm pretty sure he would have been out, but at this point, with only 11 balls of the innings to get, of course you're going to take that chance. In comes Hassan again, and that's wide and full, and it's as we used to recommend to our juniors. And that is played smeared down to the man at long on, but they can only deal in singles at the moment. They're 1-4, 5 for 4.
You look at this, you're not really sure how it's happened. England were eyeing up 185, and suddenly just can't seem to hit it off the square.
Well,
yeah, it's only about 3 overs ago we were saying 185 should be about par, wasn't it? Okay, so Hassan in for the third ball of the penultimate over. Moeen takes a step back, but the result is the same. Gets it and almost another overthrow, but they do come through for the single. Moeen is 3 off 4 and Sam Curran 6 off 9. He's back on strike.
He'd given up, hadn't he, Moeen? But the throw was so bad.
Yeah.
It was this time it was wide of the man who was directly behind the stumps this time.
He did well there, the bowler.
Yeah, he did well that time to get behind the stumps ready. And the throw was appalling.
If it'd been into his hands, he probably would have.
Yeah, he would have run him out. That's what I mean. Moeen had given up.
Hassan considering his options in again. Curran this time on strike, who has a big wahoo and completely misses the ball. It's a dot.
Love the way he held the pose there.
The golf swing.
Yeah.
You can see they've got the men behind the wicket are up and the men in front of the wicket are back. Neither of these batsmen particularly have the ramp, I don't think, which is hindering them.
Yeah.
Not as well as Duckett and Butler.
No. Absolutely not.
Well, could be quite a lot for the England think tank to ponder on at the end of this particular innings. It's a learning process. And that one's gone straight up in the air, and I think it's been caught.
Yep.
It has indeed, yeah.
Curran is put out of his misery. He's gone for 6 off 10. England 1-4-6 for 5.
This is terrible. Crap end. Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust. But they're certainly showing how to bowl because, another cutter, another one. Basically, when it cuts, if you bowl it into the deck, it balloons up, and if you get it reasonably full, it just skids and slows up, and it's hard to get away. Another mistimed shot off the toe of the bat.
Well, it's the ultimate over's gone 1-1-1 dot wicket.
We haven't had anything more than a single for 3 overs.
Yeah. Terrible end to England's innings. Just proves the value of a partnership and people getting in, eh?
Well, that's just another way of saying don't lose wickets.
Yeah.
And indeed.
About 100 ways of saying score runs and don't lose wickets.
Yeah, we've got to pull all the cliches out, Andy. Come on.
That's right, yes. That's yes, in fact, my financial advisor this week boiled everything down to either work more or spend less, which is fairly accurate.
It's worth his 2%, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, mate.
Yeah, I could have worked that out myself. How much am I paying you? You can. Excuse my language. The new batsman is.
Works his fit, got out of bed, went and had himself a net, found this way that his heel had healed, passed the test, and he went into the team.
Hassan, last ball of his spell. Right up in the block hole. Wokes manages to dig it out. He'll keep the strike. They just come through for the single. And England are 147 for 5 with 1 over to go.
Got to get 13 off this, get to 160 at least.
Yep. Jay is enraged, and rightly so, because we're getting it all wrong. Michael Madsen was Mr. Blonde, and Tim Roth was Mr. Orange.
Okay.
as Leah confirms. Do you think Tarantino is highly overrated? I can see that point of view, but I like him a lot.
Well, he's influential.
He's hit and miss as well. Pulp Fiction is a great film.
Brian has included a vegan raspberry croissant. Thank you so much. That's very thoughtful.
We'll have to.
Pretty good. Tell you one.
And Mog says, "World T20 champions, my fucking arse." Only took half a game. we're that for at least 2 years. Whatever happens, I assume the next one's in 2 years.
Sorry, I don't know whether you saw The Hateful Eight. I thought that was a poor film.
I haven't seen that one. I'm still working through some of the less famous ones.
That's not great. Jackie Brown's not great.
I enjoyed Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown's all right. It's not great. Pulp Fiction's good. I liked Dawn Till Dusk.
Dawn Till Dusk, fantastic. Pulp Fiction, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I found that a bit slow as well. Actually.
No, I really like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards. Love that movie.
And the Western one, I don't mean Western,
Django.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Django Unchained, that's a good one. Okay, so we're into the last... what's happened here? Looks like there's been a wicket.
Yeah, Woke's been bowled by a slow ball from Taskin.
Okay, there was a little bit of uncertainty on our feed, but Wokes has indeed gone.
Stop being shit.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
This has all gone to
England
shit.
collapsing in the heat.
Yeah.
Here comes Chris Jordan with his gold chains.
Ah, come on, Jordan.
Is Jordan and Archer going to have a gold chain off?
Oh.
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry. More England caps will soon draw nigh. Or if they don't, then it will seem he'll wish he'd joined the windy team.
Still got that thick West Indian accent. It always surprises me. I imagine for whatever reason he's going to speak in a sort of East London accent.
South London, yeah.
Well, no, it was interesting, wasn't it? Apparently your accent is kind of set by the age of about 4 or 5.
I'm not sure about that. Right, you
That's
can
not quite
you can
true.
definitely
Apparently-
morph. I've been an accent chameleon for most of my life.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's a dot ball. Whatever accent Chris Jordan speaks in, he's completely missed that one by a country mile. It's a dot. Now, apparently, if you migrate to a new country from the age of 7, you'll completely take up the accent of that new country.
Oh, I'm
If
sure you
go-
will. Yeah.
If you go at the age of 17, you're highly likely to maintain the accent of your original country, and there's a shifting spectrum between 7 and 17.
Well, you've managed to keep your English accent. I'm glad to see, 40. But my brother's got an Australian twang, and he went out there in his 30s. So, you know.
Well, I mean, you've just got to have a bit of backbone. Keep it.
Exactly.
That one.
Finally.
Finally, a boundary. That one is hit wide of the man at points, and Jordan is off the mark with a 4. Yeah, my wife's got a bit of a twinge of an Australian accent. Jamie was 8 when he came over. He still struggles to maintain an English accent, but you can still just about hear it. Whereas the twins who came over when they were 5 were full-on Australian.
Yeah,
so that's a quick roundup.
My nephew's got an Australian accent. I think my other nephew's got a Yorkshire accent.
A Yorkshire accent. And that's cross-batted. So they've come through for a single. So Jordan moves on to 5 off 3. And there's only 2 balls of this England innings left. And we were talking about 185 to 190 at one point. They're now 152 for 6 with 2 balls to go.
Yeah, we should have settled for 175. Yeah, I think there's a thing where certainly up to the age of 15 or 16 you want to fit in at school as well. And there is a theory that talking in the local accent makes you easier to understand.
Well, that would
and
make
people
sense.
around you.
Especially you've got a broad
Yeah,
Yorkshire
well,
accent going
yeah.
over to Australia. What are
Yeah.
you on about, Cobber?
The Steve McLaren problem.
Steve
in that
McLaren,
film.
Joey Barton, yes.
Moeen smears that wide of the man at the square leg, deep square leg. They come back for 2.
Yeah,
Moves the score
The Steve
along to-
McLaren's more famous, but I think the Joey Barton French accent is probably funnier.
I think that's probably true.
To be fair, they're both intelligent guys who know that actually it is easier. It's easier for a Frenchman to understand English with a French accent than regular English.
Well, yes, it's called accommodation, isn't it? So you know there is a logic behind it. Henry Kissinger's younger brother speaks perfect English/stroke American, whereas Henry Kissinger himself, who came over when he was much younger,
at the risk of, sorry, go on.
Yeah. Well, he speaks, with that thick German accent that we're used to. What's going on here? Oh, there's a couple of fielders swapping over on the leg
From
side.
the long boundary.
From the long boundary. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous.
It
That's
is.
total time wasting.
Yeah. But at the risk of making the bear too happy, I last saw Steve McLaren on the bench on Sunday looking about a million years old.
Fuck me, that was genius.
That was very, very funny.
It
Last
was.
ball of England's inning. Moeen hits it way up into the Chattogram sky. Oh, and there's one of...
No, didn't catch it on the second.
Fielding. As two men combined to try to catch it, did they or didn't they? I have a feeling they didn't.
Well, they didn't catch it. The question is whether it went for 6 when it went to the first one, who I think threw it back before he went over the boundary, but he didn't throw it quite to the second guy. You had to dive and just put a fingertip on it. I think they've settled for 2. We'll have another look. Catches it. Yeah, he gets rid of it in time, but he couldn't quite direct it to the second fielder.
Yeah, I thought he was trying to come back for himself for a minute, I thought. But the other guy was racing around.
Had to change direction.
Yeah. And then had to dive forward.
We should have caught it.
He got it in his fingertips, and I think when he was so in his fingertips that when his hands hit the ground, it just bubbled out.
I think you're right, but he probably still could have caught that. But the only material difference is it's 2 runs instead of none. I'll just finish off tweets before we summarise up. Mike Taylor says Joe Brand's sketch was in Through the Cake Hole, which was 30 years ago this year.
Christ.
The bear was 22 and I was 25, I will add. Tim Wall says, in preparation for the ODI World Cup, Butler's boys are experimenting with perfecting the middle order collapse. Mog says, you know what else is influential? Heroin. Screw Tarantino. Farong is back on the cricket. Good to see. Below par total, but England have the runs on the board. Problem for the innings for Bangladesh is this isn't a BPL match. None of them are big hitters, but they won't be chasing a big score. And he predicts either hedging his bets 1 for 56 or 3 for 23.
I'm going for 3 for 23. I'm going to be going
in the
under.
power play. Mog says he thinks your accent's getting stronger over the last few months. Forsey. Mike Taylor, yes, your accent's dictated by your peers, not your parents, and can morph as your peers do. That was exactly my experience.
Became a posh southerner, yeah?
No, the opposite, the exact opposite. I became a colloquial Ulsterman from being a posh southerner, which didn't go down very well at school. The posh southerner one. Tim Wall, today's commentary brought to you by our sponsor, cricket aficionado Mr. Quentin Tarantino. He includes a GIF. I don't know if that's him talking about cricket. Armchair cricket, have England forgotten? They are finishing off a T20 innings. 31 for 4 of 5 overs between 14.3 and 19.3. That's what happened, yeah.
Yeah, it happens occasionally in T20s.
Mog says, I know a woman who moved here from Scotland before she could talk and yet is still largely incomprehensible to non-British folks. Leah's been speaking High German my whole life. Finally moved to the region where it's the local dialect when I was nearly 40. That's going to be difficult. A lot of accent talk. My wife came from the Midlands to Australia in her 40s, says Brian. In Australia now she sounds English, but here in England people think she sounds Australian. Yes, often you can get stuck mid-Atlantic between, I'm not sure what it is between England and Australia. Mid-world.
Mid-Pacific?
Yeah, maybe. I've got a new lookalike. I've had many lookalikes in my life. Ravi Nair says Billy Bragg. A little bit. I look more like the twins from Bros. That was my most flattering comparison.
Matt Goss, yeah?
And it's just a ride, says utterly predictable with only 4 batsmen. A bit harsh on Moeen, I think. But yeah, it did look a bit thin, Wokes at 7. England, seem to have a bowler too many today. It seems a bit weird.
Well, yeah, we got 7 bowlers.
Yeah, at least.
It all depends, won't it? I mean, if England can, and this is it. I think Bangladesh's strongest suit is definitely bowling over their batting.
Are we going to keep going, or
we might?
I want to try this croissant and have a beer.
Okay, we're not going to carry on.
Go ahead. I'm going to duck out. Lovely seeing you guys. I'll see you again shortly.
Okay.
Yep.
You're going to get some more World Cup then. Oh no, it was dice cricket. Whatever was left down there. Anyway, the caption's wrong, but who cares? See you in a bit.
Fat in those greasy ghosts. Leah says if Smith's grandmother looks anything like him, I think it is more likely she was brought up in an orc yard than an orchard. Badumts. Nestle Boy says I am transfixed by Hendo's swirly ceiling pattern.
Oh yes, it's
that'll be the Artex.
It's coming back into fashion in about 15 years, apparently.
It looks like an upside-down mattress. It looks like you've actually got a mattress on top of you rather than underneath you.
My whole home is a mattress. Tony.
Remember to turn your ceiling every 6 months. Who's bowling the 5th?
Devon's going to continue. He's been buoyed by the wicket of, was it Cosgrove?
Yep.
The wicket of Cosgrove.
So he's going to have at least one more over.
And he's bowling to
Mohammad Shahzad.
He's in, he bowls to Shahzad, and Shahzad hits him for 4, stood up on his tiny toes, his fat little pinky, and thrashed it away through the offside for 4, and that's his highest score in the tournament. What a day to do it. He goes to 31, or 32 even.
32.
In he comes again. Oh no, there's a big appeal. That one came back into him, and it's been given. Oh, I thought it was LBW, but it's run off the pad, and it's just dislodged a bail, the leg bail. How unfortunate could Mohammad Shahzad be? It's a rather fortuitous breakthrough for Devon Malcolm.
So get on your bike and take a hike right out of here. Your history, no good for me. No good for me. Your history, nah, 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 nah.
Yeah, Devon Malcolm continuing to enjoy his work against the fat lot of Use 11. 5 for in the first game now, 2 for 32 off 2.2 overs. Mohammad Shahzad bowled by Devon Malcolm for 32 off 12, 2 fours and a 6. Again, not a particularly impressive strike rate in the context of this tournament at 266.67 runs per 100 balls, 70 for 2 after 4.2 overs. And does this bring the large vessel to the middle?
It does, and joining the Victorian out in the middle is a man from Victoria. It's Warwick Armstrong.
That's one easy run for a man. But a bloody marathon for a solid one.
That's a weird jingle.
It is very weird indeed. Warwick Armstrong, the captain, waits for his first ball, and he's immediately into his stride. He gets that front foot well out to an over-pitch delivery from Devon Malcolm and creams it square through cover for 4 runs. The captain off in fine style. He waits for Malcolm in again. He bowls, and he's again. He tried to adjust it. Malcolm bowled it shorter, but it was outside off stump. It gave enough width to Warwick Armstrong, and he has carted that up and over cover this time, and it's gone for 4.
There's not one boy for me. I must have 2 or 3. I need 4.
What a fine start by the big ship. He waits for the next delivery from Devon Malcolm, who is in, and he bowls. And it's an appeal! Surely not the big one. No, it's a no ball. He's overstepped, has poor old Devon Malcolm. It's relief for the fat lot of Use 11.
Yes, super delivery from Big Dev, but just as we saw Shannon Gabriel in the intra-squad game that's been going on, fantastic delivery, but a no ball.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Shannon Gabriel, of course, well known for his no balls, isn't he? Devon Malcolm, not so much, but he's already got the wind up him because he's got that wicket and just straining a little bit too much. This time, Warwick Armstrong will ease into double figures as a straighter ball is worked off his hips towards mid-wicket, and they'll come back for a leisurely second.
One to come.
Final ball of the over. Warwick Armstrong gets a short one from Malcolm. Top edge. Is it going to fall into the hands of the man at deep fine leg? No, it's cleared him. It's cleared him, and it's 6 runs for Armstrong. He gets away with it. I suppose a moral victory to Devon Malcolm, but look at the scorecard.
Yes, look at that scorecard. A weird over from Devon Malcolm. 4 wicket, 4, no ball, 2, 6, 21 off it, including that no ball, plus the wicket of Mohammad Shahzad. That scorecard also says Warwick Armstrong, 16 off 5. WG Grace, who'll be facing 23 off 7 after 5 overs having been put into bat. The fat lot of Use 11, 87 for 2.
It's been a better start for the fat lot of Use 11. We've quite regularly found ourselves in the 50s for 5 down, so there'll be quite
but it's going to
an actual platform for the lower middle order for once. Roger McCann is watching on Facebook Live.
Rog.
He lives.
Hello, Rog. Right.
Hi, Rog.
Right, who's
bowling then?
Oh,
Paul Allett, who's gone for 38, hasn't extracted anything positive from the Bears' digits of doom. So he's going to be replaced by the man immortalised by Lord Beginner in the Victory Calypso, none other than the slow left arm of Alf Valentine.
Yes, the wonderful To The Alf Valentine will come on to bowl. He's bowling WG Grace. Oh my goodness me, 2 giants of the game, but that one, as he aimed a sweep, he just got his leg outside off stump. It was a very close run thing, but Erasmus had to say, no, I'm very sorry, Alfie, that is not out. In comes Valentine again, left arm round the wicket, and this time WG Grace does sweep and connects quite well. The ball is running with the spin away down from the man at deep backward square, and they will get back for a 3rd. In comes Valentine again, just a couple of steps in. Oh, and well struck that man, Warwick Armstrong, back over the head of the bowler, and that has been a very flat 6 indeed. And even a 4, that's
even
how
a
flat
4.
it was.
So flat it landed 15 yards inside the rope.
Excellent stuff from Warwick Armstrong. Faces up to the next delivery, and he's rolled back, and there's another appeal as he tries to sweep. And he's been caught, I think, behind. I think he got a little inside edge onto the pad. It looped up, and Dick Young ran round from behind the stumps, has claimed it. There's some dispute going on there. Warwick Armstrong's not sure that he got an edge on that, but I think he's being told to go.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Lively work from behind and then in front of the stumps by Richard Alfred Young here of the, I think, only 2 test matches for England. Warwick Armstrong, the fat lot of use captain, gone for 20 off 7 3-4s and 1 6, 94 for 3 after 5.4 overs.
Well, it is. It's the lineup, the fat lot of Use 11 lineup. They're promising more than they're producing. They've had to rely on the lower order, and it could happen again now. But on his way to the middle this time, a man who should get some runs. Surely he's got the class. It's Arjuna Ranatunga. Hello. Didn't play a jingle.
Yeah, well, you still got balls.
Oh,
No.
I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Go on. Off you go. Off you go. Oh, John, he's not even been out there. It's a no ball. And quite right. That was absolutely.
That cheating bastard, Hendo.
God, you never forget, do you?
No.
Years ago, no.
I know, but he's cheating.
Taking advantage of the situation, I think is what you call it.
First ball just hit square for no run.
Talking of cheating, I'm on a cheat day today. You might as well have a cheat day when you come into Guerrilla Cricket. And thank you, Brian. That vegan croissant was delish.
It was indeed. Right, I'm going to go under for the full first wicket. I should play some jingles. Who have we got? We got the new jingle. What are we on about? We got here what Roni, the greatest piece of music ever committed to any form of digital media, is going to come up after this ball.
Curran is in. Down the track comes Listen and smears it over mid-wicket for 1 bounce 4.
Sure.
Oh.
Here's next turn.
No, it's not that. Oof, I gave you a taster.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
This man's facing.
Y'all ready for dash?
You're ready for that, yeah. And the other dude is the greatest piece of music. That's what it says on the tin.
Yep, I will accept that is the greatest piece of music ever produced. That one's tipped out to Duckett, a deep square. Throws in on the bounce for Butler, rather annoyingly, I'm sure. Another single, 5 for no wicket.
And the England bowler is, as we already said.
Is he a batter or bowler? Sam Curran. What's his distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. His dad's from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And he's beloved by Liz Yates. Sam Curran.
To go with a nice Camden Pale Ale at 11 in the morning. Nice. Cheers. I presume you bought these in because I didn't bring any beer.
Yes, bought those in to replenish our stocks. As Curran is slapped for 4 again. 2 short, 2 wide. Talukdar. His first ball in international cricket. He's hit it for 4. Didn't really move his feet, but he didn't have to.
Thankfully I haven't gone under yet. Right. I'm doing tweets. I know you're doing tweets, aren't you, Messi?
Yeah, 32 is quite an age to be having your debut, isn't it?
It is a little.
Just gets half a bat on that one up to mid-off. And Jordan with the fielding. They get through for a single. 10 for no wicket. And I'm sure we'll get tweets about this. I apologise for eating toast on air, but those breaks are so short, you can't get anything done.
Brian 001, the sender of the wonderful croissants and other goodies, so he's sent a picture from the pub. He's watching on the TV in the pub and he's tuned in on TuneIn Radio. That's perfect setup.
Slower ball has fooled him that time. He snooker cued the end of his bat on that one. Pulled out of the shot, but it dropped down in front of Joss Butler. No damage done. Bangladesh 10 for no wicket after the first over.
See, one of the players...
Kimball says England's T20 side is like a variety pack of cereals. When you get to day 7, you make do with what you've got left. It's a bit like that, isn't it? Mog says Hendo did take that dice cricket very fucking seriously. Well, there wasn't much else going on, was there?
No, the world had shut down.
And Mog says, all in capital letters, bow down before the might of the all-powerful Ronnie Taluka jingle, peons and unworthies. Thank you, Mog. You are the god.
Indeed.
That's us, all right.
But, yes, we were talking about 10 and over as a minimum for the last 5 overs, and they got, 6 and over?
Yeah, just about. Well, I was going to say, if Chris Wokes doesn't open the bowling, which I probably wouldn't do with him in this particular scenario, there's no point in him being in the side. Hence, he has decided to open with him.
Wokes was fit, got out of bed, went and had himself a net, found this way that his heel had healed, passed the test and he went to the team.
Here he is, right arm over, a little bit of movement played back down the wicket by Taludkar. Well, England only have a squad of 13 for these games.
Is that correct?
I think I read that somewhere, which is maybe why they've got a slightly unbalanced team.
Oh yeah, so
still no one's joined from the test squad, which is fair enough. They can't keep buzzing around the world everywhere.
Well, no, Duckett has.
Oh, I suppose he has, yeah. He didn't play ODIs, did he?
No, he didn't play the ODIs. He's playing the T20s. Jason Roy's not in his squad, is he?
He's playing PSL.
Okay.
Pulled by Taludkar. Round is Salt. Dives, they'll still get back for 2. Another throw right in front of Joss Butler, but he picks that up quite neatly.
I mean, I personally, I think it's quite good of England to go. We've got all these players, and if this is the modern way that cricket's going to be,
if you've got
accepting that people aren't going to be available, and everyone else gets a blooding, you know.
If you've got a gig somewhere else, good luck to you, especially if you're 32, 33 like Jason Roy.
Yeah.
They maybe figured Jason Roy was on the way out anyway before he scored all these runs in the last week.
Yeah. There were 15 in the squad until Will Jackson, Tom Abel had to pull out.
And they didn't replace them, okay. Which again, that's just 2 batsmen short, isn't it? Carved over short third man by Taludkar. And that's going to be 4 more.
That was a big top edge, wasn't it? There's a little bit of swing there, but started wide and just went wider. Yeah. I mean, it was a top edge, but it should have been smeared through the covers if it wasn't a top edge. Nice height, nice width to be able to free the arms.
Yeah, having just had a T20 World Cup, this is really the Mr. White's detergent contractual obligation T20 series.
Well, yes,
well,
I
it's
mean,
also like a catch-up from England's point of view with Bangladesh too, because they're sort of over.
yeah, I mean, this was supposed to be. This is it. I was reading in the newspapers. It was supposed to be in 2021, wasn't it? And England pulled out for some reason. Probably COVID related.
Well, not unreasonable round about that time.
I think they just had too many bubbles and they just didn't want to do it, didn't they? And was this when... was it also the time when New Zealand... Did New Zealand pull away from Bangladesh for some sort of reasons?
Clubbed back over the bowler's head. Very hard shot. Wokes threw up a hand, but it was well past him. And that's 4 more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That was kind of in the slot too, wasn't it?
Yep, just swung gentle away swing, right, as you say, right into the slot on off stump. Batsman giving himself room, free swing of the arms, and he's making up for lost time at 32, Taludka.
I don't see Wokes really as a T20 bowler.
No, I don't, these days particularly.
He's a bit old school, not enough variation.
Not enough variation, but not quick enough like Wood and Archer to actually make the difference. That one's clipped into mid-wicket. Who's 58? Is that Curran? With the fielding. So. End of the over. It's 11 off that one, 21 for no wicket, and Bangladesh off to a flyer chasing 157.
I'll just bring you a couple of other updates. Australia are 237 for 4 against India in the 87th over. Green is 39 not out. Khawaja is 96 not out, which he's been on for a while. And in South Africa at Johannesburg, South Africa were all out for 320, and the West Indies are 77 for 4. Russell Chase and Carl Myers have put on 26, so they were at 51 for 4 on stage, so they're struggling a bit.
So the GPR had a fair few entries. Mostly just piled in. What did we get? 100 and...
Well, they're all a bit high though. I think they're all too high.
Yeah, I think they are.
They are all too high. That's because England were blazing along when you all had to have a go. What a shame, eh?
Well, you should have been a man and guessed at the start.
Yeah. Well, this man is gonna bowl. Here he is.
He will break your helmet, break your heart, hotter than lava.
What's he going to break with this ball? Nothing. Smashes past the top of off stump though. Bit of a swish from Talukdar, and even Archer's sighter. 84 miles an hour. Looked a little bit quick for him.
Yeah.
It helps if you look at the ball though.
Yeah. It's that Sunday afternoon.
The golf swing, take your eye off the ball. Look off to 10 o'clock before you've hit it. Archer's in again, and he managed to jab that one down in front of point. A good bit of fielding. He skips down the wicket, partner sends it back. There's no run. Little fist bump in the outfield for England. And Jofra doesn't seem to be wearing any chains, but Chris Jordan stole them off him.
A bling trade.
He says, I'm the senior partner here with 85 matches to 13, so if anyone's wearing any gold chains, it's going to be me, sonny boy. I wouldn't talk to Jofra Archer like that.
No, you're not that silly.
Jordan's quite a beefcake.
Archer is in, it's short, he's got hold of that one though, he's pulled it. I thought the fielder had ducked under it for a second, which would have been a bit strange, but it was the umpire. There was a man out at deep square and there's no run. Well, the umpire's wearing those red shirts, they look exactly the same, really.
God, yeah, they do, that's why, that's a bit
They're
wrong.
exactly the same, that can't be right. I know it's only cricket, but a bit weird.
Exactly, I thought
umpires are wearing England kit.
I was wondering why they weren't going for the catch there.
I did that in a beer match once. I was square leg umpiring and my mate hit it straight to me and I caught it and he started walking off and he was 10 yards off before he laughed at him and he realised what had happened.
Not happy after that. Oh, that's a good shot.
Well, he came back in.
He's ramped that around the corner as Lindas.
Oh, sorry, I'm on comms, yes. That's what he did, thank you.
And it went for 4 runs. Let's give it a jingle.
Forward to the floor.
Not quite as elegant as Ben Duckett, maybe, but
No, just
good
effective.
enough result.
Yeah. I got inside it quick enough.
And that's what I was a bit concerned about with the extra pace of Wooden Archer. It might actually be easier to hit.
Yeah, gotta hit it.
Bangladesh 26 for naught in the third. 2 balls to go in this over. That's down leg. Should be a wide unless it flicked anything. Nope, that is a wide.
That's my undergone. Buggers.
I thought you didn't get it on. You put it
well,
on a bit later.
I did, but I got it on later and they're only off in 15 runs, the fuckers.
Wide. Well, sometimes you've got to say, you've got to look at the price you're getting.
Well, I thought under 26.5 was reasonable. If it had been under 15.5, I wouldn't have gone for it at the beginning. But they already scored 10 runs and I thought, no.
Well, it's exactly the same thing.
I know it is, but it's when you think, when do you reasonably, for me, it's when do I reasonably think a wicket will go? And I like the mid-20s. I think that's a reasonably fair line.
Right, but if they're already on 20, you wouldn't go under 26.
No, obviously I wouldn't.
Well, I think that 10 runs makes more difference than you think. Anyway,
well, of course it does, but...
Taluka taps that one into the leg side, and they take an easy single. Jofra labouring a little bit to make up for the lack of gold chains. He's got some very fetching silver braids on the end of his hair.
You'd think they'd be annoying bashing into the back of your neck.
Yeah, well, maybe he's just not comfortable without something jingling as he comes in. Something jingling around his neck. Shirt's out though, that bit's untucked, that spoils the sartorial effect. Pulled hard that time by Taluka, has gone through the fielder. It didn't look like the best piece of fielding, and it's 4 more.
And this is a poor start by England.
2 + 2 is on man.
The world champions in danger of being humbled.
Yeah. Phil Sterling says, yes, it was a 40-man squad. Jax went home and not replaced. Abel never went, did he?
No, he wasn't in this squad.
Yeah. Mog says there was an AFL umpire that marked the ball during a match a few years back. Yeah, he couldn't help himself. We were talking about umpires earlier. My grandson, who is 16 now, actually umpires in junior football, and it's because he loves football, but he's not very good at it. And he really enjoys the umpiring, and he gets paid for it. Gets 50 quid a match. Or
not bad.
That's not so bad.
$50 a match.
But you do have to know the arcane rules of AFL.
Oh, absolutely, and they have to go to training every week, all that sort of stuff. But
is there any wracking rules in that game?
That's the joke. It's the Australian no rules.
There are a lot of rules.
That's often the case. If there's a game looks like there are no rules, there are actually a lot of rules. See also rugby.
And the other thing is the umpire is much better protected than in your football. If somebody touches the umpire,
he should be. They
they're
all
banned for 3 weeks.
Oh, I see. Well, no one actually. It's quite rare to actually touch a referee. But anyway, they do get lots of abuse, as we were saying earlier on. That one's tipped out to deep mid-wicket. It's another single. Rashid is into the attack. Can we get a jingle?
Yeah, we can do. Just got to find him, that's all. Here he is.
Adel Rashid on the 45. Adel Rashid on the 45. Adel Rashid on the...
Shorter, but tails down the leg side and spins on a little bit, and the batsman misses it, but no danger of an LBW.
Adel can turn it. Oh, Adel can turn it both ways. Adel can turn it. Adel can turn it both ways. Adel can turn it on the 45.
Here he is again. He's got to slip in place. It's a better ball, and it's a googly. It's gone straight through to Lukdar. I said it was a better ball in the flight. I was expecting it to turn away towards the slips. So was the batsman, because it ripped through him and took his leg stump. Lovely piece of bowling.
That was beautiful ball.
The crowd says, you're out.
And maybe that did expose Talukdar's lack of international experience, that one. Maybe a bit better leg spinner than he's used to coming up against. Still 21 off 14's fine.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. So who's the next?
Adel's such a good T20 bowler, he really is.
Yeah. I thought he started the World Cup quite poorly, actually, but got into his stride later. It's going to be this guy.
Nazmul Hussain Chateau. He'd be pretty good in a panto. I don't know if he could act though. It's probably best if he sticks to cricket.
not particularly impressive numbers. Strike rate of 108 over 18 matches. See what he can do. But yes, Rashid has just got better and better. Assuming the next T20 World Cup is in 2 years, which I think they're on a 2-year cycle now.
It's actually next year. In
Next
West
year.
Indies and
Well, even
USA.
better. I'm sure he'll be involved there. England do have a bit of an ageing T20 team, but I think Rashid is one who's going to play until he drops, really.
Yeah.
To the left-hander, that's poked into the offside, and there's no run. Of course, you've got Rehan Ahmed waiting in the wings. They were having a little chat before the game, you saw on Sky, the master and the apprentice.
Well, exactly, and the apprentice has got to learn quick and learn well.
Yep. Gone for the reverse. That must be out, surely. Yes, it's LBW. Shanto dead for naught. I wouldn't even bother reviewing that. He went for the reverse, and it was just pitched a little bit outside off stump and hit him right in front of middle and off, and he is reviewing it, but that's got to be out.
It could be that it's turning past the off stump, but I don't think so. I mean,
No, it just came pretty straight on, yeah.
As you say, it hit in front of middle. Maybe, we'll have a look.
TV umpire SIS Psycat is back. Great name.
Come on, get on with it. Let's have a look. It's pitched on around about leg. It's not turned that much. It's probably going on to hit off.
No, you're reversed. It's pitched on regular off stump because he's turned round, and it's not as close. It's not as dead as I thought. It's angling towards leg
I think
stump.
that might be missing, you know.
I think it's going to clip. I honestly thought that was smashing all of them, but there's a little element of doubt now.
It looked out when it was played. Some umpires give on shots sometimes. It's a shit shot when you miss it.
Yeah.
When you hit it, it's a great shot.
Don't
when you
ever
miss it.
play a reverse in club
exactly.
cricket, or you'll get hits you anywhere on the pad.
The finger
you're
will be
out.
going up.
Yeah.
It could be hitting you anywhere.
Especially down the order.
Yeah, out on the shot. They're taking a time to have a look here.
Nothing on the bat. Or is there?
Yes, there is.
No, that's
the glove.
No, it's not the
that,
glove.
That didn't seem to be at the right time, but it's at the glove there, though, I think.
Yeah. I think that will be good.
And the bat. It's not a...
No, it's not. That one's not timed with the bat. I think that's his bat hitting the ground or his own pad. But I think on the second, when it goes past the glove, it seems to clip the glove.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bother about that. It definitely hits the glove there, and therefore that's not out. So it doesn't really matter if the first one's not in time.
In fact, did it hit him on the glove rather than the pad? I suppose we're not going to see.
No.
Nope, it's not out. So, so much for me. I said don't even bother reviewing it.
Yeah.
Not out.
You'd have sawn your partner off.
I would. That one's outside off stump, and just to rub salt in the wound, it beats mid off, and it's 4.
Ugh, that was a poor ball.
It's me, says she. It's me, says she.
Usman Khawaja has got 100, which I think he thoroughly deserves. And Green's on 49 and looking very good.
At least, at last, they've got a fair wicket.
Well, I'm a bit sceptical to say that that's in response to the third test. I mean, they can't change a wicket that quickly, can they? They can't have been preparing a rank turner and then get criticism and then change it in the week before the game.
I think you probably
They had 2 wickets. They had 2 wickets under Bud.
Oh, that's very sneaky.
And they didn't choose till the day before yesterday which one they were going to use.
Oh, okay.
So one was probably
in that case, it probably was, yeah. I know some of the boys at the cricket podcast call it the World Gardening Championships, and maybe not far wrong sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, they've been shockers. I mean, they did that to us. What can you say, you know?
Well, I'm not going to get involved in that debate. I don't really care.
No, I don't to a degree. I think it's a home side. You're entitled to prepare what you like.
Well,
yeah, and both sides get to bat on it.
Yeah.
And bowl on it.
Clipped out into the leg side. Archer continues. They're looking for 2. They should have got it, really. There was a bit of a misfield, but only one batsman wanted to run on the misfield. The other one didn't, so they settled for 1.
What I will say about it, though, is India aren't that good at playing spin on these sorts of wickets either.
Well, there's an argument. There's an argument. If you make it turn too much, it makes moderate spinners better more than it makes good spinners better.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, that's how both sides stay in it. I mean, but the point is that Yeah, India struggle to bat on their own wickets when it's like that as well. So what's the point? They managed to beat Australia in Australia on Australia's home wickets.
Yeah,
Yes,
you've got to believe that you could beat them at home.
Third 11.
Archer, that is clipped past point. Rashid is going to be round from third man. I'm sure they'll pick up 2 for that one. Indeed they do.
Australia finished first there at 255 for 4.
Cool.
I just think they'll be happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, the importance on those wickets is actually winning the toss and batting first, because whatever the state of the wicket, it does degenerate.
Did Australia win the toss?
Yeah, and they batted.
Yes. Even though Modi tossed the coin? You'd have thought they'd have said, yes, you win, boss.
I mean, when England won that test in the first test after they'd been to Sri Lanka, they won the toss and they batted, didn't they?
Swung away, not convincingly into the leg side, but Jordan is after it. He's still one of the quicker fielders around. Reels it in, but I think they get back for 3. And Archer, as I feared, is looking not too threatening on this pitch.
Well, they've got a good start. The ball will get older and harder to hit.
Yeah.
You've got to make hay while it is hard and new.
Well, you call even further into question Salt's 30 off 30.
Well, to a degree, yeah. Maybe it's not actually that easy to bat, and it'll turn out that Joss Butler's innings was genial.
Well,
even though he got dropped,
we'll see.
And it could be a howler.
That could have made a big difference. Yeah. Archer is in and just dabbed down to short third man by Lytton Das, but he's halfway down the wicket, but he gets sent back. Slower ball from Archer.
Leah sent us a German football chant, which proves that German fans are just as intelligent as fans elsewhere. It says, "Referee, we know where your car was parked. Burned very nicely. Burned very nicely." She said it in German, but I haven't bothered trying to embarrass myself by reading that.
Bangladesh are favourites, so I might bet on England just for the hell of it.
Well, what's the price?
Well, it was 11-10 and then it went blank, so I guess they're readjusting the odds.
Oh, I wouldn't have England near evens,
No,
but
that'd be
that
wide.
one's gone straight up in the air and should be caught. It is caught very easily by Chris Wokes. That's the end of Lytton Das. And a bit of respite for Archer. It was just a length ball. He had a bit of a swipe at it, a bit of a top edge, maybe towards the toe of the bat, and England take a much-needed wicket.
Another one bites the dust. I think that is going to be out, Fred. Another one bites the dust. That proves that the bloody bookies are getting their info before me, innit?
Going to have a change at the end of the over. Actually, you're going to do the next one.
I'm going to do the next one. I'm going to
Josh is going to join us.
He is indeed. And who's staying on? Hattie's going to join us again.
Mog says more Panto runs coming up for Shanto, and he says, and doesn't Australia seem a better batting side without Warner?
Well, they do at the moment.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I heard someone describing Warner as trying to hang on to his opening spot for England till his fingernails get pulled out.
I should think he would, yeah.
Here's a man making his debut.
Didn't he have an absolute disaster last time they were in England? Or was it the time before?
Yep.
Who?
Warner.
Yes.
Did well in the World Cup.
Nice.
I think he had the bat turned around in his hand and he rather sliced it up in the air. He knew as soon as he hit it that as long as Shakib Al Hassan wasn't under that one, he was going to be out.
Bugger, that's made England's favourite again.
I'm not buying them as favourites.
13-8 on now.
Oh, I'm missing something. But then again,
So
bookies probably know more than I do. That one is clipped out to deep square. The fielder with the hat on lets it go because he's the umpire. And that's thrown in for a long single. So at the end of 5 overs, it's 44 for 2.
Okay, and the next tweet is from Leah.
Josh is on. Hattie, I don't know if she realises she's on in the second innings. I've got her down as now, but she's not in the waiting room and she's not even trying to get in. So,
I'll hang in until if she doesn't then.
Okie doke.
Okay.
We'll have to rearrange on the fly. All right, Josh, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right. For some reason, this PC has stopped recognising my USB headsets, so I'm hoping the sound quality's okay using the computer mic.
It's all right.
It will do.
It will do.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Speaking of something who gets endless amounts of shit when I try to work from home on this one.
Yeah, last time you sounded like you were in a bloody cathedral or something.
I don't know why. Mine always sounds much worse than anybody else's.
Work from home, Andy?
Well, this is the closest thing to work that I do, so yeah.
We have. It's not a change of bowling. Yes, it is a change of bowling. Adil Rashid bowled the penultimate over, but we're not going to jingle up Chris Wokes because Bear is on jingles and he only plays them once per bowler in T20.
I think that's reasonable, to be honest.
Pulled out to deep mid wicket for a single. Bangladesh in this utterly meaningless game that should be by rights be part of an A tour, but for some reason is given ODI status. 45 for 2.
Yeah, as we've worked out, it's a hangover. It should have been played in 2021. Contractual obligations, I believe it's called. Yeah. And the reason I think that the ECB are showing this is that they had a hand in helping out Sky get the rights, because Sky probably didn't want to pay what they wanted for them and kind of got into a standoff. And the ECB, I think, bunged in a bit of money. So they're allowed to play it also.
Obligations, the ECB also has to pretend that it's a full ODI series, despite the fact that it's an A team.
Well, yeah, maybe, possibly so. Look, England have got a good enough side. I don't
England
mind
still
this.
won, and I think this is going to be the way forward. If you want to squeeze in all this cricket, you're going to have tests and
What
then
you don't
ODIs.
want to squeeze in all this cricket.
Well, someone does.
Over the wicket to Shanto, left-handed, who cuts straight out along the ground to deep backward point for a single.
Yeah, I mean, it's the modern way with sport. I mean, you look at the bloody football season. I mean, the football season last year finished in, June, and then it was 3 weeks later because the World Cup. They literally started 3 or 4 weeks after the last season finished. Sports now want to make the money, and therefore they want to go through the whole year. I mean, I've noticed in America they've started these sort of... I thought NFL was the only proper football thing, but there's a couple of other leagues that are off season.
Sure,
and stuff
yeah, there would
that
be.
Are starting up, that have got TV rights and stuff,
Wokes again, this time is pulled hard by Hridoy straight out to mid-wicket. Nice clean bit of fielding on the dive there. I couldn't see who it was. There's no chance for catch. It must have been on the bounce. This feed didn't pick it up particularly clearly. Anyway, it's a dot ball. Bangladesh halfway through the 6th, 46 for 2.
Not seen Wood yet. I guess he's in the middle overs enforcer role.
Indeed. Wokes in off that. Long run up, his feet nice and close together. Back defensive down the pitch. It's fielded by the bowler, misfielded by the bowler. The batters look for a run. It ain't on offer. Another dot ball on 1 ... in this over. Yeah, how many listeners have we got? Are they interacting with us? Are they as bored as we are with this?
We've got the usual suspects on Twitter.
We've got the usual suspects, exactly.
It's surprisingly hard to tell how many actual listeners we have at any one point.
Once again, this time he's clubbed down the ground by Hridoy. Not a fully authentic on drive, but find the long on boundary. It does. That's 4 runs.
2 + 2 is on man.
Nice shot inside the man, mid-off, trying to cover 2 positions as per normal is in these games. Get it straight enough, it'll beat that man on the inside. No one out deep.
And it did.
What?
Wokes in to complete the over. His elbow is rocking side to side in that run up. This time he's down the leg side. It's clipped out towards long on. It beats the fielder a backward square leg. Cannot get round to it. 4 more runs. 2 off the first 4 balls of this over.
There's
8
not one
off the
more
last.
for me. I must have 2 or 3. I need 4.
Poor end. 2 4s.
Yeah. Which way around do you want to do tweets or summarise?
I don't mind. Shall I do tweets? I don't often do tweets.
Yeah.
Not that I like doing tweets.
Tweets and jingles, Bear.
Well, yeah, I can handle it. India took 4 wickets today at home with an attack that includes Data, Ashwin and Shami. Shambolic, says Leah. We're going to lose this ingloriously, aren't we, says Ravi Nair.
Who cares?
Quite possibly. Farong reminds us, well, Tigers have gotten off to a fair start. Yeah, 3 for 23 or 1 for 56 power play 1. 54 for 2, in fact. Oz 250 plus must be playing on the black mud pitch and not the red mud pitch, as the world's greatest sports stadium has both black and red mud pitches. With Godey a batter, bowler or keeper. Was Godey. I mean, I presume he means Goddy.
We do, however, now have a change of bowling. The middle order enforcer, as yet unup jingled, has come on. First ball is chipped little bit out of reach of, I think it was Adil Rashid there. I think he misjudged that. It cleared him, rolled over to the boundary, 4 runs. There was a chance for catch. It was missed. Anyway, let's hear the jingle for the 4 and then the jingle for this middle order enforcer.
I think Chris Jordan be a bit up.
You know Mark Wood? Yes, he is an England bowler, quite good and pretty quick. So just a normal guy. Of course, except for just one thing. What? He thinks that he's a horse. Right.
He thinks he has a horse. I think Chris Jordan be a bit upset. You compared him. You thought he was Adil Rashid. It's actually Jordan at mid-on couldn't get there.
Indeed, my mistake. Wood again this time is pulled hard out towards Cow.
This is what I thought.
The fielder at deep mid-wicket can't get to it. A nice enterprising shot, another consecutive boundaries, finishing the last over and starting this one.
Yep, that's 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And this is rather what I thought. The quicker bowlers are just easier to hit.
Yeah, no, I was harsh on Jordan. It was a good effort to get there, but he managed to make himself look slightly less apt in the field than he is in trying to take the difficult chance just out of his reach at wide-ish mid-off to the right, mid-on, sorry. As this time Wood in again to the left-handed Shanto. This time he goes down the ground. He beats the diving fielder at mid-off.
It's another one.
Cannot get there, and it's another boundary just to the onside of straight. 4 more runs.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Get him in boundaries, this pair seems to have said to us.
Cricket's a funny game. England just couldn't find a boundary for 4 overs at the end of their innings, and Bangladesh are hitting them for fun here.
I think it's.
It is power play.
It's not.
No, it's not now.
It's not now, but I do think
No, it's not.
No, this is the 7th
No,
over.
we've had the signal for. Was that the signal for the end of the power play?
Yes, that's how that works.
Okay, my mistake.
We're in the 7th
Sorry, I
over.
thought it was one of the optional ones.
No.
That's not a thing anymore, thankfully.
Except for any competitions that have got super streaks and
Indeed.
maxi power plays.
Again, round the wicket, this time to Shanto.
It's
who
another
pulls
one.
once again, he beats Chris Jordan, and it's another 4. That's 6 in a row, straight out to wide long on.
Top edge. It wasn't particularly well hit, was it? But
It just makes England's struggles towards the end of that innings even more bizarre. I think they were bowling better. Wood seems to be just putting it up there with knots of pace on it nicely to be hit.
Well, exactly. At the end of that innings, they were all bowling out the back of their hands,
cutters
and all
this
sorts
stuff,
into the pitch, which I presume is easier when the ball's older. No.
Wood again round the wicket from wide of the crease. This time he squares up Shanto. There's a big shout for leg before. I think it was going down. The umpire is completely uninterested. I don't think England are going to review it either. The timer is down to 7-6. There is no movement from Just Butler behind the stumps. We will probably look at it.
Thankful to get a dot. Did you say spot fix?
Yes, I did. I was wondering if it was.
They're never going to do anything like that in an England game anymore. There's so many opportunities in backwater T20 leagues. It's not going to happen in anything remotely high profile.
Wood into completely over. The 1 dot ball so far has broken those rows of 4s, and this time it's pulled out along the ground to deep mid wicket, where it's fielded by Phil Salt for a single. Shanto pinches the strike. And Bangladesh, after 7, are 71 for 2 in the box seat in this game.
Right. Where was I up to? Fuzzy short for Fazar. Farzana. Well, it doesn't say that on here. It goes Farzar ... I don't know what comes after that. It's talking about a photo. He wants to cleanse his eyes, but I can't see the photo. Brian says he's still here.
Unsee the photo.
Yes. Diana Patton says some of us just pretend to listen, Josh. Christopher White says, well, I'm listening. From now, my office in a shed in the snow in northeast England. The scintillating nature of this tour and yield verve and excitement is keeping me warm. Well, with a couple of laughy emojis. Yowl says, interesting to see how Hidroy does in this series. Had a great BPL this year. Can be an opener too. Maybe partnering Shanto later on. He was. Is he still there? Hidroy's out, isn't he? Oh, no, he's out. He's there 10 off 6. Morning all, says Warren. Morning.
Break off, do you? Rashid in to Shanto, who pushes the ball out in the offside. Slightly more whippy shot than a push. It's fielded at extra cover, no run. It would have been umpire's call on impact, that shout that they didn't review. This time it's floated up outside off peg by Rashid and is cut daintily, deftly, beautifully out to the deep backward point boundary for yet another one of these.
Yeah, I think that's kind of come off the toe of the bat,
Yeah,
and he's a little bit
unlucky.
fortunate to get that between the two fielders. But once it beats those two fielders, it's absolutely gone. I'll come back to it again. Just don't know why England couldn't hit a boundary towards the end of their innings.
And this time Rashid touch leg side is hoiked out very slowly towards wide mid-on, and the batters come back for 2. They are not hanging about here. I think the only way to find some interest in this game is to put money on it being over in 15 overs.
Well, possibly. Well, they just kept losing wickets, and the new guys coming in couldn't hit it off the square, off the off, could they? And then they got out. And
There was
that
even a
pattern
spell before Butler and Duckett went out that they couldn't hit boundaries.
Rashid in again over the wicket. This time he's prodded out towards the square leg umpire, and once again they'll look for 2. This time they won't take them. The approach by the fielder and the throw are good.
No, the only interest comes here is the 6-way bet on the run out. I'd say 10 to 1, but it's still decent.
10 to 1 on the next dismissal being a run out.
Yeah.
That's a little
It's more
short.
likely going to be a catch, but I do like a run out chance.
Right. Might even be bold.
Possibly.
Especially with Rashid bowling.
Stumping's not a bad option as well, possibly.
What are the odds on a stumping?
Yeah, they usually are higher. Where are we? I shall tell you when I get there. Stumping? No, 10 to 1 on stumping. So others 200 to 1. Hit wicket.
Rashid in again. I think that was the googly, and is worked out into the leg side. The batter's come back for 2. There's no one there. The wicketkeeper had to do a lot of chasing. Another couple of enterprising runs. .4212 so far off the 5 balls of this over.
England also couldn't seem to pick up a 2 in their entire innings, and Bangladesh seemed to be doing that a bit better.
I didn't watch the first innings. Was England's was Bangladesh's field placing a lot better than England's is?
It's always hard to tell off the TV, but I don't think England were really batting very well for the most
this time
part.
orthodox leg break to the right hander. He's pushed out into the onside against the spin. It's well fielded, restricting the batters to 2 runs. Still another expensive over, 11 off it. Bangladesh after 8 are 82 for 2. What say our listeners?
Well, Tim Wall says the listeners are indeed the usual suspects. The greatest trick we played was to convince the world we don't exist. And he sends in the video of the opening of The Usual Suspects. That's a good film as well. Mog, more important than this...
Overrated, but very good.
Yes, the more important than this pissant is the big Nepal versus PNG match that the Nepalese just won. Yes, okay. Leah says, so what do we think of Lankan scoring over 375 overs on the first day in New Zealand? Ooh, interesting. They can't get through to the final now, though, because Australia won a test in India. Well, didn't lose, that's all they had to do, wasn't it? 1 test and they were through to the final.
The final against India.
In the World Test Championship. Which would have been a bit unfair as well, because Sri Lanka played about 12 test matches to everyone else's about 20 or odd, so it's all on percentages.
Well, they're trying, but it's difficult. If you're not going to make people play, they're going to make it all up themselves.
Indeed. We're up to date on Twitter.
That's not actually correct, Bear. If Sri Lanka win both tests in New Zealand and India lose this test match, then the final will be Sri Lanka versus Australia.
That's
Really?
Messi Jez doing an impression of Nakul Pandey.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
Scarron is back on, trundling in, bowling left arm over the wicket to Shanto, who works the ball out towards deep backward square for a single.
I still think that would be reasonably unfair on India, who've probably played 24 test matches. If you're going to go on a percentage...
Well, what else can you do?
Well, I know, but then everyone should play roughly the same amount of games, shouldn't they?
Like I say,
I don't mind if it's 1 or 2. I mean, if you're going to play 25, 1 or 2 is different. But I mean, staggeringly, if you only play 14, someone else is 22, 23. There's a big difference there.
You could impose a minimum number of series and also a minimum length of those series.
And then how's that going to work for someone like Afghanistan, who no one wants to play?
Well, then they have to be...
Garrett again, this time is padded out into the ground on the offside, looking to work the ball.
You have to say, if you want to be in this, we put out the fixtures and you flipping play them.
Well, yes, there's that too. Which is fair enough.
Good luck with that.
I know, in practice. I know that they're trying, but boards just have too much power to say no. Can you imagine this happening in football?
No,
we're not going to play qualifiers, but we want to be in it anyway.
Yeah.
Scurran again over the wicket. This time is worked out into the onside by Hridoy. It's fielded by Ben Duckett, who's run round from Cow. A single off it. Partnership is 41 off 22. This pair scoring at quite a lick. Bangladesh are 84 for 2, halfway through the 9th over, with target 157. They're well over halfway there, and I suspect the required rate is down to very close to a run of ball, if not under it by this stage.
Around about that, yeah.
Indeed. Scurran in again. This time the left-handed Shanto cuts deftly just backwards of square on the offside. It rolls away to the deep backward point boundary. No fielder anywhere near it for 4 runs.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
This might leave... Who did Curran go to? Was it CSK?
Yeah.
They might be looking at their receipt.
Does it come with a guarantee?
Yeah.
I mean, does it count as an online purchase? Do you get your money?
Claim it back through the credit card.
Do you have a grace period? Scurran in again. This time he's driven just to the onside by Shanto. Didn't quite get hold of it cleanly. It's fielded by Chris Jordan. The batters take a single. The equation is 60, I think it's 68 required off 67 if my arithmetic has not deserted me. So they are still just above a runnable required, but this should be a cakewalk.
I was just going to say cakewalk, yeah.
Should be.
Did someone mention cake?
Cake.
A couple of quick wickets could change it, slow it up.
Curran
They
to
need
complete
them.
the over this time is
Need them very quick.
out towards mid-wicket. They'll get 2 here, I believe. No, they've just taken the single. Nice and slowly, it completes the over, 8 off it, and yeah, the required rate is a runnable +1, 6.09 needed off 11 overs. Bangladesh 90 for 2. They need 67 off 66 balls. England at the same stage was 68 without loss these last few overs after the power plays, and particularly that long unbroken sequence of 6 boundaries on the trot have put Bangladesh very much in the dominant position in this game.
They have indeed.
Should we keep saying wrong things so that Jeremy can come on and correct us again?
Wow.
No, it keeps him busy.
Sorry about that. Good call, Josh. Rohit Singh says it was a very different pitch. This was traditional Test match cricket, except for session 2. India were attacking and Australia counter-attacking throughout. Overall, a decent day of cricket. Presumably that's the first day of the current Test match.
We have another bowling change. We shall hear the jingle of the New England bowler as he bowls his first ball. It's prodded out towards short mid-wicket for no run. Let's hear him.
Our beard shouldn't touch. Move over, Amlo. I like it too much. Move over, Amlo. You're one hairy dish.
Again over the wicket. Hridoy this time works the ball out on the leg side to deep backward square. It's fielded cleanly. The batters take a single.
Need to get Shanto out, really. He's the man.
Yeah, Shanto 40 off 19. Fridoy at the other end has 17 off 13. No disgrace, but not scoring anything like the same rate as his partner. Fridoy will face the next one.
And then, see, well, you've got the experience of Shakib still to come, haven't they?
Indeed. And to the left-hander, Moeen is coming round the wicket. It's worked out to deep mid-wicket. Again, slowly enough that the batter's come back for two, taking on the throw. There's some excitement on the part of the England fielders that is, in my view, completely unwarranted.
Well, yes, I think it's fairly comfortably back there. And again, Bangladesh just doing this better than England did, picking up these
I think
twos.
it's more than anything else, sort of they're pleased with themselves for having had a direct hit.
Which they didn't. I think it was Butler's glove hitting the stumps after
No.
he dropped the ball.
I think he padded it. He guided it onto the stumps, like glanced it onto the stumps via his hand. But the guy was in, I think.
I think that's
I'm
right.
hoping he's not, because then I get 55 quid. But you know.
Oh well, the closest you get to it.
No, we're actually going to go upstairs.
Yeah, no, he was in though. Yeah, he was in.
He's in. He's in.
Oh, you're right. Butler just patted it onto the stumps. Yeah,
It was a good.
It was a nice bit of work.
Yeah, it was a nice bit of work, but he was clearly in.
Accurate enough throw, padded onto the stumps by Butler with one hand, one gloved hand, but the batter was very, very safe. And the England fielders, I think, was celebrating having executed it rather than any actual success. As this time, Shanto dances down the wicket, clears the infield, 2, 3, 4 bounces into the ropes, a deep extra cover. That's 4 more runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I think we're hoping that Moeen would be more effective against the left-hander. And that's maybe your answer. It looks a bit friendly from Moeen at the moment.
It does indeed. England don't seem to have any answers. We're not surprising.
Despite their 8 bowlers or whatever they've got.
Yeah.
Well, that's 60 needed off 62. The required rate now below 6 and over, below 1 a ball. Moeen again round the wickets to the left-hander, who this time misses a defensive shot. Well, no.
Leading
just
edge.
a little bit outside leading edge of defensive shot back to the bowler. No run.
Nearly. Well, it was aerial a long way back. But
yeah, nearly.
And to completely over, Moeen bowls and is sort of cut just in front of square out to deep wide extra cover for a single. Enterprising shot again by Shanto. He pinches the strike.
Right, we'll have a change. I'll probably have a drinks break as well, so we can have a good look through Twitter and what else is going on.
Well, Messi is taking over from me. Rohit Singh was the last one I did, Messi. Josh is staying on. Do you want to swap places with me?
Yeah, I can do.
From Cardiff, probably a bit far.
We're probably going to want someone to help us out for the last 5 overs. If either of you guys can stay on for the last 5.
If there's still any cricket.
That is a good point, actually, because it might...
I can hang in there. Yeah, I'll be right. Mog says you can fuck off with all that optimism and all, Barry. Farong says, turning off for 15 minutes as I will be doing the mile walk to the beer shop. I can buy a beer basically anywhere in Thailand, unlike chatting to a beer and his brothers at the tea staff in Mirpur. How many wickets can I snare on my walk? Well, for England's sake, you'll need to snare quite a lot, because this is looking pretty fucking easy, to be honest. And the Naked Fun Porn Box says, just got my Chat GPT update. The shit is hitting the pan. Oh, dear God.
Can't imagine a conversation between the naked porn bot and Chat GPT.
Oh dear, I'd rather not stay.
No. Seeing the quotation mark highlights of this innings so far from England's point of view, which were absolutely cheers a long time ago. Beautiful ball from Adil Rashid to dismiss Liton Das, I think it was. But it hasn't been so good after that, and we're now seeing Mark Wood getting pumped all round the ground. And Bangladesh looking very comfortable. They need 59 off 60 with only 2 wickets down, and this is a chase. You should execute 19 times out of 20.
Yeah. I mean, England bowling hasn't exactly been threatening either, has it?
No, again, the quicker bowlers have just been easier to hit. Rashid's bowled a couple of good balls, but really Wokes hasn't threatened. Moeen hasn't threatened. And they're 20 short. They're 20 short in any case. I think Rashid is going to continue. Shanto after, and I thought he was dead LBW on naught, but he wasn't. I was wrong. And he's certainly made it pay. 47 off 23. He's going to face up to Adil Rashid, who's probably England's best hope, such as it is. Tosses it up, clipped into the leg side, going to be at least one. Should be a comfortable single. And Bangladesh approach 100, they're on 99 for 2. It looks like England will have some food for thought after this game, but let's at least give it the rest of the game. Changing the field now for the right-hander, Hridoy, who's really just played a holding role, 17 off 13. He's been giving it back to Shanto.
It's had only about a third of the strike.
Yeah, they did come in at more or less the same time. That one is played back to the bowler, who does get a dot ball in, runs across and sticks his boot on it. Bangladesh need 58 off 58.
Whoa.
And England looking a little bit hangdog in the field. Very full from Rashid. It's hit long and high into the leg side. Is it going to be 6? Yes, it is. Over the fence and into the crowd.
Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6.
Was the captain meant to be here today?
She was here earlier on. I'm not sure if she realised she was doing the second innings. That's why we need one of you for the last 5 overs, or the last over and a half, probably.
The last 4 balls, if it gets that far.
Yeah.
Down the track again, clipped into the leg side. Wokes is around. He looked suspiciously like he was outside the circle. I'm sure he wasn't. But it's a kind of comfortable single. It's 106 for 2. To compound everything, England having to change the field around every time there's a single.
What's the point at which the fielder has not to have left the circle?
When he releases the ball, I think.
I thought, though, if the batter is moving to indicate an intention of some kind...
Yeah, but I don't think you can go outside the circle. That one is tapped into the offside, or I should imagine not anyway, and there's no run. Not unknown for a no ball to be given for the wrong number of players in the circle. Is a bit careless. Inside edge there, it goes out towards square leg. Are they going to get 2? Nope. Short fine leg is round. End of the over is another comfortable one for Bangladesh. Another 6 and a couple of singles, and they're 107 for 2 off 11.
The Pornbot says, once upon a time there was a young centaur called Mark. He loved getting pumped around and ground, click around the ground. Click here. Oh dear. Yeah, I don't think I'd rely on the ChatGPT for that. I don't know if you've read out Don Diego de Silly Pants just says doomed, which seems fairly likely the way things are heading. Jofra Archer, when in the South African ODIs, the first one he was sort of like he was warming up. The third one he bowled beautifully. This series, I didn't think he bowled particularly well in either of the ODIs, nor has he bowled particularly well today.
No, it doesn't seem to have rhythm. Bowen is in again, tipped round to backward square. Shanto picks up a single and also picks up his 50.
Don't stop just 'cause you got to 50. Don't stop, treat it as a start. You can use this to get a better score.
He's been intent on proving me wrong the whole innings. I also commented on his career strike rate when he came in, and he's certainly exceeded that. But that one is way up in the air from Hridoy. I don't think it's going to be far enough. Sam Curran comes in and takes the catch close to the ground. Not the wicket England would have loved, but it's a wicket, and that's a start. Let's have... I like this one.
Go OUT the window, go OUT the window, go OUT the window, 'cause OUT spells out.
England take anything they can get, Josh.
Indeed, and just as importantly, i.e. not very, it's a dot ball.
It does bring Shakib to the wicket, and if he continues like he was in the ODI, then it won't help England a lot.
No,
I mean, it will help us
situation
get an
for
early
him.
bath, though.
Yeah. Well, Shakib might actually just trundle along and run a ball, which is all they need. Anyway, here's his jingle.
Shakib, 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 Shakib Al-Hassan play for Worcester. Shakib.
And despite, again, I'm getting everything wrong in this innings, describing Moeen Ali as friendly, it's he who took the wicket.
I don't think you were wrong. It was just the facts changed.
The facts changed to suit my opinion.
He was friendly when you described him as friendly, and then
he might still be. We've all got out to friendly bowling.
Indeed.
That's the Gary Naylor description of facts. They're aimed facts until somebody changes them. Yeah.
To start me off on Gary. That one's into the leg stump, tipped into the leg side. It'll be an easy single for Shakib to get underway. Gary was trying to tell me the other day that India's seam bowling was their strength and they should produce seaming wickets in India.
What?
Sometimes you just got to let him get on with it.
Jesus. I mean,
one thing I will say is Gary is not even close to the top of the list of people I would least like to commentate with on Guerrilla Cricket.
One or two who are no longer with us as well. There was no run off that ball. England tried to get a little bit of grip. That's too short from Moeen, and it's clubbed into the leg side. Is it into the gap? Nope, but it's a comfortable single.
Gary can laugh at himself. That's the beauty of it.
I've got to correct you there, Jeremy, but I think what you mean is that Gary can laugh at himself, and that's the important thing.
Slip in for Moeen, which is very adventurous when he's going to bowl like that, which is short and comes through the ankle of the batsman, tips it into the leg side for another single. That's all they need.
Is this game
111
boring
for
enough
3.
to roll out the commentary impressions where we all try and pretend to be different members of the Guerilla Cricket extended team?
I've never done that actually. I don't really fancy myself. Like in Airplane, I'm sorry I don't do impressions.
But you've got license, Josh. You feel free. As long as it's not too insulting.
It's always the problem.
We don't really want to shit on our own.
It's always the problem with impressions. You might not intend them to be insulting, but once they come out. Having a look at Shanto's innings, it's been very impressive. 51 off 29, really taken this game away from England.
The other thing with impressions is they're very easy just to make them boring. In order to send people up properly, there's got to be.
You've got to get what they say, not just how they say it.
Yeah, well, bad impressions are actually awful.
Yes, it can be some of the worst. Wood is back, trying to do an impression of an international bowler. That's very harsh, but he did go for 17 in the last over. And is clipped down to long leg for a single. As all of us who are old enough to remember Mike Yarwood will attest.
Some of us aren't.
What's that, sorry, Josh?
I said some of us aren't.
Oh, some of you. Well, lucky you is all I can say.
Yeah.
70s entertainment.
Yeah. What passed for entertainment?
What passes for entertainment now? But it was ever thus. Wood comes in over the wicket to Shanto, and he's bowled in. Bowled top of middle stump. Wood looks pumped and angry. England maybe just opening the door. They've got rid of both the set batsmen. Just a bit quick, and maybe I think that kept a little bit low as well.
He certainly played over the top of it, didn't he?
Yeah. But that's one of these.
And it was quick. It was under 46.
So get on your bike and take a hike right out of here. Your history, no good for me. Your history, nah.
Shanto looks livid with himself, so someone at least cares about the outcome of this game. I will say he was playing the right shot to that ball, and I think you're right, Andy, it did just keep a bit low, and he ended up playing over the top of it. But he was pissed off with himself. I think not for his shot selection, which was absolutely the right thing to do, trying to put the ball out over deep mid wicket. Just the fact that he missed it and clipped the top of middle, knocked middle peg back, leaving 2 stumps either side of it. Well, 1 stump either side of it.
Yeah, we're not bowling. England might do better if they're bowling at 5 stumps. I'm not sure though. Anyway, this is their
I
chance.
gave that wicket to you, Andy, given your insult to Wood 2 balls before.
And Moeen, yeah, that's what.
And Moeen.
Yes.
So who else can you insult?
Well, like I say, it doesn't work if you do it on purpose, but neither of those were, just to demonstrate the point. Right, England, this is their chance now or never, I'd say, in this game. And this is the new batsman.
My money's on never.
Yeah, probably.
He's not a thief, he's just a guy who sometimes borrows things that are not his. He's not a
And Mark Wood rather staring at the dismissed batsman in the way you're not supposed to these days. I suppose you can get close to that line. And Shanto has some very fetching hair lights, either that or something in his hair.
Yeah, it could be some product being caught by the light.
I was assembling some furniture yesterday, and it was one of those where the polystyrene packing, you had to tear it off so it flew everywhere, so I had bits of polystyrene in my hair for most of the rest of the day.
I thought you said this was the closest you got to work. That sounds much more arduous.
Actually it does, but it's not something I do on the regular. I've just moved and got a bunch of new furniture.
Yeah, where you moved to?
Tottenham Hale.
Oh, very nice.
Do you know London at all?
I know that part of London relatively well.
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of new buildings around the train station. They're putting more up. They're very good.
For a long time, whenever there was disruption on the Cambridge to King's Cross
That's
line,
the one,
Cambridge
yeah.
to Liverpool Street, the trains that go in through Tottenham Hale were a staple. Often bike trips from central London out to Tottenham Hale to catch the last train back to Cambridge.
Yep. I once was getting a train back to Cambridge and it just stopped at Royston and it was the last one. I had to get a cab from Royston to Cambridge and it was a bit expensive. I was a student at the time.
I have a former colleague who lives in, I can't remember if it's Shepworth or Meldreth.
Shepworth and Meldreth, yeah.
If he misses the last train that actually stops there, he has a bicycle he keeps at the station at Royston in order
Just
to
in case.
cycle.
Well, I wish I'd had that.
That's
because then
so England.
Then I didn't know there's apparently some taxi turf war between Royston and Cambridge. It means you can't take one to the other without... a top edge, but it's gone into safety. Butler has loped after it, but he can only pick it up with one glove and throw rather wildly, but I think someone's picked it up on the backup. But yeah, getting this taxi back into Cambridge, it was immediately pursued by a local taxi that saw the plate. Hey, you're not allowed to come in here, governor. Yeah, that's all I need at 1 a.m.
Jesus.
You'd think Cambridge would be a bit more genteel, but not particularly.
Why would you think that?
Well, just because of association with the university, but as I say, if you knew it, you'd realise it wasn't.
Yeah.
Was it genteel when you were at university, Andy?
Not particularly.
Nah.
In fact, the university was the least genteel thing about it. Wood is back in, around the wicket. Short, tipped around the corner by Shakib, and it'll be an easy single.
Certainly when I was working there were a fair few students who used to enjoy going out on a Saturday night looking for fights with townies for the sake of beating people up.
Yep.
Jesus.
I'd be cheering on the townies even when I was
That's
there.
Here.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The Pornbot says Elon Musk contacted me telling he was going to take me in public or something like that. And Ravi says definitely Billy Bragg, Andy. I'm not looking for New England.
No, nor am I. Wood is in, short, down the leg side, crap, helped on its way, and that's 4.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
It's all very well bowling at 90 miles an hour. You can't bowl at 90 miles an hour there.
especially not with a one-day field.
No.
Just helped
Helped on its way round
Yeah.
the corner, where a sort of short fine leg was not stationed. Because why on earth would you? Because you don't. Shit may take wickets, but you don't set fields for shit.
No, and that has rather released any pressure England were hoping to build up. Here comes
Threat of the build-up of pressure.
Well, that one's a bit quicker. Is he going to get wide for that? Probably not. It probably flashed over leg stump. I think any contact would have been 4 more, but it was quick enough to beat him. End of the over, 118 for 4. Bangladesh need 39 off 42.
Mog makes a demand of you, which I recommend you don't comply with. He says, name names, Joshington, name names. You know who they are, Mog. You know perfectly well who they are.
I thought it was. I thought he was asking you to name. You were the person who talked about the worst people having left.
No, that was Andy, in fact.
It's everyone's fault now.
I can tell you how it is. Most of the time when I'm on Guerrilla Cricket, I have a lot of fun. If I'm not having fun, then I figure our listeners probably aren't having fun too. And I just like to convey the fun. But if it's not fun, then I won't do it, basically.
No,
there's a few people I don't commentate with in order to make sure that I'm not on here not having fun.
Well, I hope it's all fun today. That one was tipped into the leg side for no run. This time, Shakib is down the track and gets an outside edge. Rashid is after it, and I don't think he's going to get there. No, he is not.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And Moen will consider that a moral victory. Shakib down the track, a thickish edge, but in the scorebook, it's another 4.
Yeah.
Partly because the ways of having fun with some people are not deemed appropriate for the airwaves.
It would be interesting to score a match on the basis of moral victories, wouldn't it? This 4 goes in with blue because it was a good shot. That one's a 4 in red. You don't really count because it was a moral victory.
Yeah, that one's
edge between
tapped
second
back.
and third slip.
Tapped back for no run. I remember reading in a fanzine someone said something along the lines of another moral victory for our boys, taking to the top of the moral league 10 points clear. Shakib has a very idiosyncratic style against Moen. He thinks he's going back to everything, and obviously just got enough time on a slow wicket, and he doesn't think Moen's going to rip anything, and he can just tip it into a gap for a single.
It would be curious though to chalk up the number of runs and indeed wickets scored to different kinds of
Well, I think they're trying to do that these days, sort of false shots and
false
stuff
shot,
like that.
fielder area, edge through the
a lot of it's very subjective though, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Moen's in again, it's gone for the reverse this time, Afif. It goes straight to short third man for no run.
One of the things I've always liked about cricket over baseball is the fact that, for example, a sacrifice bunt in baseball doesn't count against your average. There's a huge amount of subjectivity in it about, basically if you were trying to take one for the team, then somehow it doesn't punish your stats.
Much better. Oh, better reverse sweep, and fielder got a hand on it. Milan, he popped it up in the air behind him. He went back behind him again. He got the same hand on it the second time, but it bobbled out. And England have got to take every chance here. Didn't quite take that one. It's the end of the over, 123 for 4. Going back to what you're saying, yes.
Whereas in cricket, batting for your average is the cardinal sin. It's the worst thing you can possibly do.
Well, yes, there's some talk about not counting run-outs in white ball cricket, and so you wouldn't be penalised for running off the last ball and stuff. But really, the fix is to tell your batsman not to flipping do it, and I think England do a good job of that. Some
exactly,
other
that's the whole point.
Not so much.
Personal milestones do not count for as much as winning the fucking game.
No, and I think we mentioned this in the last test when I was on, that it's half the reason Stokes bats in this rather frenetic way that he does, almost irrespective of the situation. That he's showing them that he doesn't care what his average is at the end of his career. He's just trying to win games.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a tough one for Milan there. I actually got it wrong again. He parried it with one hand and then tried to catch it with the other going behind him, which is quite difficult. Now, England have got all the way towards losing this game before Chris Jordan's bowled, which speaks to how many bowlers they have out on the park. He's in now, and he's cut for 4, I think. Yes, he is.
He is indeed.
Yeah.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
I guess the plan is for Jordan to bowl these last 3 overs from this end, but the game is virtually over. The game is virtually over. And that's sometimes the problem with preset plans. Anyway, he's got a jingle.
He might get 2
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry, more England caps will.
That one is not got hold of at all by Shakib. He's lobbed it up short of Moeen at cover, and that's no run.
Warren says, turf war between Cambridge and Thurston. Which one of the Sharks?
Cambridge and Royston.
Thurston.
Well, it was Royston. I mean, we're right in the tweeter. I mean, it's my anecdote, so I know where it was.
Yeah.
But that's fair enough. Not everyone has the same knowledge of Sheppreth and Meldreth as Josh and myself.
You're dead right.
Again.
Letchworth Garden City.
Letchworth Garden City.
All those awful midnight 6 trains out of King's Cross via I think it's the Hertford Loop.
Yes, you don't want to fall asleep on one of those. God knows where you'll end up. Shakib again going back to a foolish ball from Jordan. Pokes it into the offside, but there's no run.
Oh dear. This sounds like one of the last great adventures, getting on a train somewhere.
Well, these days it is, the way timetables and such are. Jordan's in again. Shakib drops it into the offside. His partner wants a run, he doesn't, but they manage to negotiate it before there's any damage. Going to have a change at the end of the over.
I'm assuming Bear's coming back on.
Bear's coming back, and we would like one of you to sort of finish off for us.
Jeremy's volunteered.
I'll hang on the tweets.
Oh, okay, that's great. Thanks very much. Unless Hattie is back. Oh, she is actually. Sorry, after all of that.
Oh, good.
I think Hattie has realised she's doing the second innings, and she's going to come back for the last, maybe not 5 overs, but the rest of the game.
I'll give you a tweet. There will be.
Just Shakib pokes it past the bowler. Not even Chris Jordan could get across to that one. It was in the air, but he's got it through for a single. Cross-seam ball, little bit of a leading edge, but just enough to evade the bowler.
Bangladesh are contriving to make this ball last more than 15, 16 overs.
Maybe they're on a last over bonus.
Leah says, I'm not here to hear you having fun. I'm here to hear you being miserable. What kind of weirdo? What do you think I am? Some kind of weirdo?
Well, Hendo's not on today, sorry. And one of the other lugubrious commentators.
And the pornbot says, let's not discuss morals. Cheers.
Jordan's in, down the leg side. It may not be the end of the over. Then again, it may.
Hit the pad.
Flick the pad
on the way
won't
through.
be wide. Bangladesh need 29 off 30 with 5 overs to go.
And off I shall fuck.
Thank you, Josh and Nestlers.
Me too.
We welcome back.
Nestlers?
I'm sorry.
We're up to date on tweets.
Messers. It sounds very similar.
Yeah, annoying. I kind of backed England to win.
Well, I did say I didn't much like their price. Didn't like them being favourites.
Well, I got them at 7-2.
That's not too bad.
It doesn't look likely. They keep just leaking that 4, don't they? 1 ball in the over.
Yeah, it's all fairly comfortable.
Moeen is going to continue. Turns quite sharply. And there's quite an infield on the offside. There's someone, I think it's Adil Rashid, just back a square. Darrow Milan, who almost caught a screamer in the last over, is at point. And then there's a cover. Just trying to squeeze the runs, really. I mean, I think, as Shaki gets right in front of his stumps, but manages to play it around the corner, he'll get himself a single. They get through Shaki, they could cause a little panic.
They've got to do it right now, though.
Yeah, they do have to do it right now. And then bring the paceman back, I suppose. The ball that got, who was it? Shanto.
Shanto, yeah.
That seemed to skid on and keep a bit low. It's quick. Tossed up. Oh, there's an appeal for LBW. And did he get bat on that? Or did it hit his toe and then onto his bat? Josh Butler isn't that concerned.
Bottom edge, maybe.
Well, yeah. There's definitely a bit of bat involved.
Yeah.
Well, they've got the run rate back to 6, won a ball, down the track, and there you go. And
say,
there's the
another 4, yeah.
As Moeen gets hit back over his head as Shaki comes down the track. He's the key to this for me. Gets 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I think you bring your paceman back, and now that the ball's older and softer, you do all the cutters and shit that they were doing at the end of their innings and see if you can really gum it up and get a couple of cheap wickets. But you can't do that if you bowl short shit outside off stump. They get smacked over the top of covers, and there's 4 runs, another one. 2 balls.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that's the sigh, Hattie. Just kind of giving it away.
England just haven't really been very good today.
No,
They've
they
not
haven't
done
at all.
anything particularly well.
Well, it's
but
true.
Butler was good. That's about it.
Yeah.
But team choice, the end of our innings just faded away, and
Yeah, because they should easily have got 175.
Yeah.
Which, leaves them. I know they might have approached it differently, but it leaves them something a lot more interesting.
Indeed. Moeen, last ball is hit. Can't beat the man at cover. They decide not to go for the single. Bangladesh in the 16th over, 138 for 4, just requiring 19 runs off 24 deliveries.
Mog rightly says, "Fuck a moral victory. I'd rather just have the actual victory." I don't think we could claim this as either.
No.
Farong says, "Squeaky bum time for someone." Again, that's the fan of the team who's obviously winning thinks it's much closer than it actually is.
Yes.
Because we're all born pessimists.
Indeed.
Brian says, "Back in the mid-80s, I was living in Butterworth, Malaysia. To grow across to Penang Island meant a 30-minute ferry trip. Late nights after a few beers. Often saw people waking up only after the ferry had started the return trip."
Troublesome. Only 19 required off 4 overs. Should be a breeze for Bangladesh.
Should just finish this off quite quickly, really.
Well, you'd have thought so. A couple of big sixes. Having said that, Archer's back into the attack. He's gone for 18 his 2 overs so far. Got a wicket. Bit of chat between him and Butler.
Again, I'm sure it's a product of this small squad, but they really just had one bowler too many in this team.
Well, they were just talking about that off air. They've only got 2 other bowlers in the squad. So
yeah, right. They haven't got enough batsmen in the squad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The only 2 other players out there are Rayan Ahmed and Reece Topley. Neither of who are a better batsman than maybe Rayan Ahmed could.
But they're not even any better than Wokes. So England are going to have at best Wokes at 7 for the rest of this series. I think it's going to be difficult.
Well, that's why he's probably in the side, isn't it?
Yeah.
That one is guided by Afif down to 3rd man, who'll get himself a single. So he's got himself a permanent spot in this side by dint of the fact that he's the best of the rest when it comes with a bat.
yeah, it's true actually.
Bangladesh 139 for 4, 18 required of 23 deliveries. Archer coming around the wicket to Shakib, who's 23 off 18. Feel that he's the key, although with only 18 required.
They'd get there anyway.
Yeah, they'd get there
Without
anyway.
this ball.
It's only 3 big hits, isn't it? Not that there have been that many 6s in this game. Archer's the only one who's hit a few. That's pulled. It's got aerial. Has it got enough on it? I'm not sure it has. But it's landed in no man's land. Down at deep backward square leg. There's no one there. There's a long leg and there's a mid wicket. But there's no one at backward square leg, and therefore it drops into no man's land. And Shaki probably gets back for 2. That should have been out, really. You'd have thought someone should have got round to that. It was in the air long enough, but he's quite fine, is Adil Rashid.
Well, as I say, Rashid's the closest man, who's probably the slowest runner in the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ran round rather than forward as well. But then I'm being harsh, really.
Yeah, he was never getting there. That one's guarded round the corner by Afif, who'll get himself a single. 16 now required. And they must have only got a single off that previous delivery than they did, yeah. Even though it hung in the air for all that time. Probably should have run 2.
Probably watching to see if he got caught.
Yeah, exactly.
We've all done it.
And now you get no advantage by crossing either, do you? So you're more inclined to just sit and watch it. Am I going to be out? Which is foolish, really. That's into the pitch with a bit of cut. Shakib struggles, but gets hold of it enough to get it out deep square leg. Bottom hand coming off the bat and gets himself a single. 15 required off 20. That looks like John B. Looking like a demon. Afif on strike, 8 off 9. Studiously placing his hands on the bat as Archer is coming in to deliver around the wicket. It's full, it's driven sweetly. And no one's catching that, and that's the 4 for the over that they require. And the run rate, the run was just 11 now required. And England.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
England just shaking their heads and.
Yeah, this one's done.
This
Never
one
mind.
is done.
Yeah.
Does anyone else feel when I see Archer's like dreadlocks, it looks like the dangly bits look like when somebody's on breakfast TV or something, like with the speaker in their ear, the microphone in their ear.
Oh, what the little earpiece bit that comes out of the back? Yeah, a little bit. Short by Archer. Afif just rocks back, guides it down the third man to get himself a single. 10 runs required of 3 overs.
Yeah, Warren says fall asleep on the last train and wake up in a basement hole looking up at this face. It does look like John.
Yeah, I think it is John. Yeah.
And Soph in KL, Reeve Butterworth, very similar experiences in Hong Kong. There's a huge gap between 11:30 and too early and 3 a.m. Not uncommon to see people sleeping on the pier. And I'll give you this one, guys. Archer, what's his future looking like from Mog?
Ooh, it's too early to tell, isn't it?
Well, at least he had one. I thought he was done.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's taken a long time to get back. What, he's been out 18 months, pretty much. Look, if he gets enough form, and he's going to play the IPL, won't get a lot of red ball form before England start playing Test cricket in the summer.
Then England will just break him again in the Ashes, probably.
I don't think they will. I
hope they don't.
They
blatantly did last time.
Well, they blatantly did last time, partly because Ollie Robinson has been such a fire for that Test side that he really fills a hole if Archer or Broad aren't playing, which gives you so many more options. Wood, they've realised they've got to manage so, but they can get 2 tests out of him. And so they may feel that Archer is, wind him in slowly and maybe playing 1 or 2 of those Ashes tests. And if you keep Anderson, Broad and Ollie Robinson a rotation of at least 2 of those 3 and probably 3 of those 3 in 3 of the tests, then you've probably got enough bowling to get you through. Ollie Stone looks like his pace is up and looked quite good when I saw him in some of the ODIs. They'll stick with Leach as that one's worked into the leg side by was that Afif or Shakib? It was Afif, and he gets himself a single. Then they'll probably get them through the Ashes.
Just about, I guess.
Stokes has a few overs as well if he can get himself bloody fit.
Yeah.
I mean, his mysterious knee that we all don't know what it's about, but he's always injured. I mean, there's got to be something there. It's either operable or it's not. I mean, they say he has to manage it. Jordan around the wicket, full and driven back over the top and mid-off. It's not quite going to go all the way, but it's 4 of the runs that of the 9 required. Just 5 required off 16 deliveries. Just bung him up so you can whack it back over your head for another 6 and we'll be gone, thanks. Cutter by Jordan, but just too full.
Yeah, they've not found the range of cutters and slower balls that the Bangladeshi bowlers did.
No. Well, I think they struggled, didn't they, because they lost it in that those 6 balls that went for 6 consecutive 4s really was it for
Knocked
England.
the stuffing out of them, yeah.
It did. That's full and wide, and Shakib can't get any bat on it, goes through the bat and there's no run. And they just didn't have enough runs on the board. Should have got to 170, 180, ended up with 156, so it all went horribly wrong from about over 13 for England.
Yeah, with the team they have out there and the options, the lack of options they have, they're probably just going to write this series off.
Yeah, they probably are, and I don't think anyone will be any the wiser. A bit of play time for some people that you want to give play time to, and that's it. Jordan in, smashed into the offside. There's a fielder out there. It'll just be with a 1 run, 4 required to win the game.
They'll probably use the same excuses like they did this time last year. It's just like the end of the Test series, we did all right, and waste of time playing these 320s.
Well, precisely
And we
that. I
didn't
mean,
need to.
it's come down to that, hasn't it? You know, we won the World T20, so you lot can all shut up, and we're world champions at ODI. So
Yeah.
fuck off, a lot of you. You know?
I wouldn't make any
Exactly,
excuse.
which is really, really dismissive and pretty unfair on the opposition, actually.
Well, we're presuming that's what we would say. I'm sure it's
Yes.
not what England would say.
No, of course not. They'll be media
More
savvy and say,
diplomatic, yeah.
exactly. We were rubbish. They were really good. They won't blame it on the fact that we haven't got a proper team out. You got to play with what's there, and that's also true. Worked into the leg side for a single by a thief.
You still got to win the bloody game to keep your rankings up.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like losing, but I mean, you've also got to be pragmatic. If you look at it in the round, you know it's not your best side.
But whatever they do, and they are trying, so much of international cricket is pretty meaningless, really.
Yes.
Hate to say it.
Well, this is it. Bilateral series have completely lost their meaning. And it's mainly because of the rise of the franchise thing, isn't it, really? Because there's so much more cricket that these become kind of just thrown out there. That is chopped at.
Gonna do it.
And it's going to be...
That's going to do it.
I don't think it's where Shaki meant it to go. I think he meant it to go square, but he got a kind of top edgy bit that went through probably where third slip would be. It was too fine for the third man. It gets it down to the boundary. 1 for 4. Bangladesh win with 2 overs to spare. Only having lost 4 wickets, Shaki remains 34 of 24, and that's the end of the game.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And the only thing we've learnt is that England haven't got their full squad out there, and we could be better.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. As you say, it's hard to see what they will learn from these games, but you got to play them. They're contractually obliged.
Exactly.
They might as well just try to get through it and see if any batsmen like I mean, they've only really got 4 batsmen out there.
Well, who we got?
And you know, Butler, Milan, and Duckett are reasonably secure. It's only a question of whether Salt can do anything. He didn't today.
Yeah, Moeen at 6. I mean, look, if this batting lineup has a day, the top 6 should be able to get them through to really decent score. You know.
I mean, they had good intentions. If we'd had Jacks and Abel in this series, then we would have learned something. But unfortunately, they couldn't make it. I would like to perhaps see Smeed there in there as well for the T20, but. Unfortunately, events have conspired against them.
Yeah, and they're not going to bring players out to replace the ones that have gone home.
Not really.
They're not that bothered. I suppose they'll have to if 2 more players get injured.
Well, they'll still have 11.
They'll
stick them out on
so
the field.
3 more players get injured, and someone's going to have to come out on a plane. It's probably someone who's already in India, queuing up for the IPL. They'll just have to fly across the border and play out there, which means it could be anybody. Well,
Let's see if any final tweets. GC Naked Pornbot, did Hattie just say dangly bits? I don't think so. Did you?
I most certainly didn't. Oh, I might have done actually. Dreadlocks.
Dangly bits, yes, you
right,
did.
Yes, yeah, okay.
I beg your pardon.
Mog, I agree actually, Mog. I would also love to hear a captain say after losing a series, "Fuck off, we're world champions."
Yeah.
I would really love someone. In any sport, someone to just go out and be completely straightforward and don't give a fuck and non-diplomatic and find them all they like and get my respect.
Well, if you're earning enough money, you probably can. And Ronaldo
That's
can probably
right.
do it, although he probably can't do it
They
now.
probably
He's
can't
in Saudi
do it
Arabia.
now.
Yeah.
No. Mog says, how much money do I need to give the BCCI to let that happen? Well, a lot.
Quite a lot, yes.
A lot.
Well, there we go. Not much more to say about this game. 158 for 4. Bangladesh beat England, who were looking at a score of about 180, 190, and then it all fell apart. Didn't bowl particularly well. Jordan looks like he's probably on the way out, to be fair. There's lots of replacements for
Well,
him.
it is an ageing team.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. They've got to manage, and as like I say, they tried to put Jackson Abel in, and they both crocked themselves. So
exactly. And the bowling unit looks all right, and there's plenty more people to come into that bowling unit as well. It's obviously the batting isn't the batting that you probably have going into. Well, it isn't the batting that we had in the World Cup. So there are people missing from that lineup that probably could make a difference and make the whole team. I mean, I think in the final of the World Cup we batted down to number 11. You wouldn't say, well, you kind of say.
Yeah, they've got. We're still waiting for Bairstow to come back in all formats, really.
Exactly. Anyone know where he is?
On the golf course.
Well, he shouldn't be on the golf course. If he's on the golf course, he should be in nets. I mean, it was quite a horrific break, but it was 4 months ago now, so you'd think he'd probably be back and around for the
How'd you break
Ashes.
your leg playing golf?
I know, and then 3 places. It's fucking mad, isn't it? So I swear someone came out of the woods with a baseball bat this morning.
You're in for a big surprise, Bear.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right, well...
Well, that's it. Play the theme tune. Thanks for coming along for Hattie. I'm not in for the next two. Pardon me. I think... I can't remember. You're doing one, aren't you?
I'll be the chief head honcho in the studio for the third one. So
well, I'll be up, so I can guide you from
to that.
remotely.
Yeah, I'll definitely will.
And I think Tone's in on Sunday.
I'll try and take us out today. Thank you again, Hattie, and everybody. Messi and Forthy. That's about it for this one. And Jess. Yeah, Messi and Jess. Still, he does a lot of shifts. So.
Yes, he does.
And Josh is what I meant. And Josh. Right, goodbye for now. We'll see you again when the next one is.
Yep.
Which is Sunday?
Sunday, I think. Yeah.
I think so, yep.
See you later. Bye.
Right, bye.
Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time has come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin. It's about the winning.